Howie? Oh, my microphone sort of fell apart there. How are you all? We are live. Well, hey. So, that was an interesting session. I don't think many people were quite expecting that. Hang on, I've lost my blummin' timing. Oh, God, I can hear myself. Quite expecting that. Hang on, I've lost my blummin' timing. No, it's all going wrong. It's all going horribly wrong. Where the hell is it? There we go. I've killed it. Well, that went well. Right, hello everyone, how are we all doing? I hope you enjoyed that session, because I tell you, that might be my favourite FP3 for quite a while. That was good stuff. This could be the best season ever if we have 6 cars. I know. What was it? 3 cars we've had there within... Well, no, 4 teams. 4 teams within, what was that, about 3/10 of each other? That is bonkers. I tell you. I am hyped for this season. Obviously, look, Red Bull, I think, sandbagging by probably a couple of tenths. So, yes, look, they're probably going to be quickest by quite a bit. But, like, you know, they're going to have the weakest development curve. This could be really fun. This could be a really, really fun season. I'm going to quickly get up the live time. I've just opened Netflix. Didn't mean to do that. I'm going to get the live timings up again, because I appear to have misplaced them. Where the hell have they gone? Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Okay, here we go. I think, is that also on the right? Yeah, here we go. Cool. So, live timings, hey? Okay, I mean, it doesn't really work. I'm going to get a dedicated tab that's attached to this website to get all that to work. But we'll go... Yeah, that's not going to work. Let's just go to F1. On Twitter. It's easier. It's just easier, isn't it? So Formula 1. Right, hello everyone, how are we all doing? Alonso! I'm fine. Max pole, Checo win. Max 2. Alonso, so Checo win. That's a bold shout, because I mean, Checo has seemed a little bit off of what Max has been able to do so far this weekend. It's not looking amazing for Checo at the moment. It does look like he's a little bit off. Why is there not a single graphic that just... Okay, will that fit? Is this fitting? Okay, that fits. This is good. Okay, cool. That fits. Have I got the whole page? Yeah, all the way to Logan Sargent. They're all the drivers that actually matter. Hulk, yeah, there we go. Okay, I'll just zoom out. There we go. And now we can leave this off screen. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, what did everyone make of that session? It was really good, was it? Merc looked fast. I mean, they look all right, don't they? I think it's like Mercedes are sort of they're sort of there, but not there. If that makes any... Wait, what? This is just wrong. Oh, that's with 30 mil. Oh, for flip's sake. For flipping hell. I hope qualifying will be intense later. I think it should be. Is Merc even faster than Ferrari? It doesn't look like they're miles off, does it? It really doesn't. Here we go. So Fernando Alonso goes fastest before qualifying. Iconic fastest sectors alert. So we have Hamilton, Verstappen, and Alonso with your 3 fastest sectors from that session. And I'll tell you what, that's just... It's amazing, isn't it? It's really, really amazing. I can't wait for qualifying. I really can't wait for qualifying later. It's going to be great. If Aston Martin can keep bringing upgrades to following races, scary. I know, and that's the thing. There's the graphic of the season. I put it in the RaceBeacon Discord. Hang on, let me bring it up on the... Here we go. So this is the graphic of the season, right? So this is the how much time the teams can spend on aero testing this season. Obviously, Red Bull would be 70%, but they had that 10% reduction, so that's 63%. And, you know, so you have your top 3 competitive teams here. Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes. You know, Mercedes, they normally develop well anyway. Good extra testing time. Then you've got Aston Martin, who are going to be a really competitive team this year, who have 100% of the time that they're good. They're sorted this year. But I put out a tweet a little bit earlier, and I'm interested to see what people think of this. Should Aston Martin... Well, I don't know. I mean, based on that FP3 session, they're actually closer than I thought they were, even this morning. You know, we were saying, yeah, they'll be 4th quickest in pre-season testing. We're like, yeah, 4th quickest. Now we're going, oh, okay, you know, after FP1, FP2 yesterday, I was going, yeah, you know, they're probably 2nd or 3rd quickest, but they're still, you know, they're still not the quickest, you know, they're doing like low fuel runs and stuff like that. And now this session, I'm starting to think, ayo, they actually might be like challenging. They might be right up there. And I think they will now. They're definitely up there. definitely. Oh, it's so cool. I'm so hyped by that session for qualifying now. In just 2 hours' time, I'm really excited for qualifying now. So excited. If Aston Martin can keep bringing upgrades to follow races go, yep. Alonso's 41 and will fight for the title. I know it's mad. I'm still not sure if they'll be able to put a title fight together, though, if I'm being honest. I just feel that they were showing a little more, but then what if they weren't, you know? When Alonso was told he was still quickest, he went, really? Wow, sort of thing. Like, really? Yes, that's great. And that's probably because that's either because he's thinking, wow, I wasn't expecting to be quickest, or he's thinking, wow, I left a lot on the table there and we're still quickest? That's surprising. It's looking good. It's looking good. Mercedes and Ferrari definitely still struggling a little bit. They are undoubtedly off of, I think, the top 2 teams at the moment. And can we just point out how crazy that is? We're saying the top 2 teams, and we're talking about Red Bull and Aston Martin. We're not, you know, when we say top 2 teams last season, in the amount of times we said that, it was all about, you know, it was all about your Mercedes, your Ferrari, your Red Bull, those sort of guys. This season, it's Aston Martin. I can't believe it. I really can't. It's so good. I'm so excited. I'm just so excited for qualifying now. It's gonna be really, really great. Here we go. Right, there's the full timing screens then from that session. So we have Fernando Alonso obviously topping the session on those soft tyres. I think everyone put in a lap on softs on the end, didn't they? I don't think there was any mediums come the end of the session. But I think what we've definitely seen is the Williams and AlphaTauri are exactly where I expected them to be at the bottom of the field. I feel they're not back markers, but they're not in the midfield battle. I think this again just sort of proves what we were expecting. So I'm happy. Most of my predictions are coming true. Aston Martin are just basically slightly better than what we thought they were going to be. But apart from that, my predictions are spot on at the moment. And I'm actually, no, to be fair, I did have Alpine probably ahead of McLaren, but come qualifying, I still think that's going to happen. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. Hello, Hugbear. How you doing? A solid lap by Piastri. It really was. Yeah, he's put himself ahead of both the Alpines there. Well, he's put himself best to the rest. So yeah, no, he's doing really well. Nando's actually quick. What the hell? Yeah, I know. He really, really is. Everyone was all soft. Yeah. Okay, thank you. I was gonna say I didn't know if like maybe there was someone at the bottom who was still on the mediums, but I thought everyone was on soft. I know obviously like all the top sort of 10, 15 were all soft, but yeah, I wasn't sure if there's like someone at the bottom who was a little bit out of place. Bottas, I think, as well, looking a little bit weak. But look at that. We have all the way down to Lando Norris inside 1 second of first place. How good is that? That's how many different teams in 1 second. That's what? One, because the other Alfa Romeo was up. So, yeah, that's about 7 teams within a second of first. And I tell you, and Haas are only just outside of that as well. Alonso pole, I think that might be a little push. That might be a little bit of a push, but it's not impossible. I thought it was yesterday, but it's not impossible now. Imagine if Aston will become the 2023 version of the 0506 Renault. I mean, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? That'd be amazing. But this is a video I'm probably going to end up making fairly soon. Is sort of a, you know, Aston Martin are probably the next dominant team, especially if this year goes well. If they really do have pace this year and they can compete with Red Bull throughout the year, with the extra development time they're going to have from this season to sort of develop on next year's car and so on, it's gonna be amazing. They could be the next dominant team that we've got. You know, the money they've got, the drivers obviously might be their downfall because Alonso will maybe be around for 1 more year after this season, and Stroll, he's all right, I suppose, but you can see there's a bit of a pace difference there between about 6 tenths. So, which team is my favourite? I am a McLaren fan, so I'm a little bit mixed bag about today. We're looking better than I thought coming into the season, so I'll take it. I was expecting us not even to be in the points, and I think we might get a car into Q3, so I'll be pretty happy with that. It's more than I was expecting coming into this weekend, so. So I think everyone was on the soft tyres, apparently. I didn't know if maybe someone around the bottom was still on the mediums, or just didn't get. Obviously, there was no one on the hards, so it'd have been miles back, but. Yeah, so yeah, everyone was on soft tyres as far as we're aware. I think Merc are lying to us saying they're worse than 2022 and that they are shipmates miles away. Yeah, they're definitely not. They're definitely not. They seem there or thereabouts. It's really weird with Mercedes from what we've seen so far, because they look okay. You know, there's nothing particularly wrong with the car, but they're just sort of there. You know, when we get to these sort of runs, they are there. That Hamilton only 2 tenths off of the Aston Martin, which, okay, last season you'd have been going, wow, that's really rubbish. But this season, that's impressive. Stroll also doing solid laps as well with that injured wrist. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I feel like there's a debate to be had about whether or not he should be. obviously I put this in the title bit up there that's scrolling, saying like should Stroll be racing this weekend? Because that was a topic of debate on Twitter last night. He seems okay, doesn't he? It's nothing. It's nothing too, like, I wouldn't say it's a fundamental reason he can't at the moment. Point of view Vettel, yeah, suddenly 4 times assistant. I know. There's a couple of Seb fans in my Twitter groups, and I feel absolutely gutted for them, because this is the equivalent of like when Jenson Button retired a few years back. Well, got kicked out of team / retired from McLaren, and then all of a sudden they turn up next year with an amazing car. It's just like, oh, I think that would have broken me. So I have a lot of sympathy for the Seb fans, a lot of sympathy. I think Stroll is a very fast driver and good in the wet. Yeah, no, his strength's definitely in the wet, but he's very adaptable, Stroll. I don't think he's not got phenomenal racecraft. He's not ridiculously quick, but he does reach his peak very quickly. I think Anthony Davidson was saying this in FP3 or FP2 a little bit earlier. It was just saying, you know, Stroll's a driver who, yeah, okay, might not be the quickest, but he gets to near his top level of performance very quickly, no matter the conditions. You know, he just gets it. He gets to that level. Struggles to get much further than that level, but he does get to it, and that's what's obviously most important. What happened to Ferrari? Well, we don't really know. I still think Ferrari have got the engines turned down a little bit. I'm still not 100% sold on Ferrari really being as slow as they are. I just don't see them being that slow. You know, it's not looking great at the moment for them. Here we go. So let's take a look at the F1 data analysis stuff. So this was some stuff that I wanted to go over from a little bit earlier. No more binary brake telemetry, please. Yeah, I really would like to see. I don't know where you get all this data from. I know he does leave sources in this sometimes, but I really have no idea where you get them from. So yeah, we look at something like lateral acceleration, which is the third plot down here, when we're comparing a few of the cars. And you can just see the Aston Martin sort of tipped in there. I love going over these, because since I've actually learnt how to read them doing my engineering course now, all of a sudden they make a lot more sense. It's really weird how that works. Stroll definitely deserves his seat. I'd say probably overall. I think he is fast, but he struggled with crashes. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. His actual racecraft's not that great. His awareness, like even yesterday when he was coming out the pits, and I think he had Piastri sort of dive down his inside when he was battling with one of the AlphaTauris. You know, it's that sort of thing. It's the awareness, it's the racecraft that's just not quite there from Stroll. But he does have some pace. He's not a really slow driver. If Alonso has a winning car, I can see him drive to. Yeah, I mean, if Alonso's consistently winning races, he'll just stick around till he's not. He's stuck through half a decade of some pretty appalling cars. Well, nearly a decade now of some pretty appalling cars. And I realised that this morning. I was like, hang on, Alonso's been staying around for this long. He really wants that third title. Why would you just be hanging around in some really mediocre cars hoping for a break like this if you weren't that desperate? You know, he's a very rich man. He has got everything he needs in his life sorted. 2-time F1 world champion, all of that stuff. He wants this third championship. This is what he has been waiting a decade for the chance to do. I'm still not sure the car will be quite there, quite yet. But I think, again, go back to this graph where we have the development times. Think how strong Aston Martin are going to be next season. With that much more development time than the 3 teams they'll be directly competing with. Well, think they can put that 20% extra that they've got purely into next year's car with no negative effects whatsoever. It's amazing the chance I got. Thank you for the sub, Martha. Thank you very much. But yeah, it's absolutely that is the graph of the season for me, because we're going to keep referring to the fact that they have all of this extra development time, because especially if they want to go for a late title push, if they realise mid-season, we're actually quite close. Alonso's top 3, top 4 in the championship, only 100 points off or something like that. They might go, if we use this extra percent, on this year's car and develop right till the last race, he could win the last 3-4 races in a row sort of thing. So, I don't know. I mean, that FP3 session has just got me so hyped for qualifying now. I do think Red Bull will have it today, but I'm more interested to see finally where the midfield sits. I think the midfield might even be a little bit closer than last season. Your McLarens, your Alpines, those sort of teams. I think they might be a little bit closer than last season as well. And that, again, just makes me even more hyped, because it means there's more chance for a shock podium, let's say, coming up. I don't know. I feel like we're the closest we have been for a decade to returning to a 2012-esque season, where you just sort of have loads of drivers finishing on the podium, some shock wins here and there because the track just really suited that car. I think this is the closest we've been to it. It won't be quite as mad as 2012. With what was it, 8 different winners in the first 8 races, or 9? I can't remember, 7, 8, or 9. It was one of those. It won't be quite as bonkers as that, but I tell you, it's looking good. It's looking good, especially if the midfield are close. So that's what I'm looking out for in qualifying. If the Aston Martin is right on top as well, even within a tenth of the Red Bull, they are legitimate title challengers. Especially when we look at Aston Martin's race pace from FP2 yesterday, all in the long runs, 200ths on average off of the Red Bull. That's that's strategy and a driver performance in the race that it could so easily make that difference. That's nothing. I'm hyped. I am so seriously hyped right now. This is just going to be... I don't say this is going to be a good season yet, because obviously, if Red Bull, we get to qualifying and they're 3/10ths clear, then yeah, that's a lot, and they probably won't... they'll probably be caught by the end of the season, but not on points. On raw pace, they might get caught, but points-wise, no, that would be out the window if they're 4/10ths clear. But if there's a team, if we have 3 teams within 2/10ths, or 4 teams within 2/10ths, like we had in this practice session, what a season we have in store. Because all that is a driver pulling out just a cracking lap. That's all that is that can make up those 2/10ths. It's like Lando Norris in 2021 Abu Dhabi. It's one of those, if they had the Mercedes engine in that car for that race, he'd been on pole. And that's the power of a driver being able to put in one of those laps. Right, let's see what you guys are saying. I know I've been rambling because I'm excited. I'm really excited. So let's see what you guys are saying. Let's put a poll up, actually. This is the first of our polls. So this is the first of the prediction questions we've got. So it's going to be, who will qualify highest? So this is a thing that we're doing this year, where it's you against me, basically. Before all of these sessions, we put out a little prediction thing. Let's say I can't stream for whatever reason, it'll be on the YouTube community tab, and I'll put my answer underneath, that sort of thing. So this is us going against each other directly. It's me versus you guys for this. So who will qualify highest between... So here we go. What we're going to have here is... I am assuming Verstappen's a shoo-in for pole with this. And a lot of people won't agree with this, but this question works really well if Verstappen is a shoo-in for pole. If, he doesn't and he ends up 4th, then yeah, this question doesn't really work. But we've got Perez, Alonso, Hamilton, and then Leclerc. So they're the options here. Whoever's closest will win, I guess. I think that's the best way to do it. But so who will qualify the highest between Perez, Alonso, Hamilton, and Leclerc? So if you guys pick Hamilton and he qualifies 5th, I pick Alonso and he qualifies 4th, but obviously the highest one's Perez in 2nd, then I would get the point because I was closer. That's how this will work. And if it's 1 point either side, then we'll draw. So I just think this is a fun thing to do. So there we go. That's the option for the poll. I'm going to go to the head view so we can have a look at the poll results as they come in as well. If Aston give a car with even slight championship potential, you bet your bottom back Fernando is going to is going to fight. Tell that thing. Okay, see, that's what confused me there. Till that thing is top of the pack. I think he might have 4, maybe 6 years to... I'm not sure 4 to 6. That is quite high. 4 to 6 is quite high. But I think he's definitely got... Hell, he's definitely got 3 in him at a push. There's no reason he's not got 3 in him. Including this year. I think he can maybe go to 2025. But if we see Fernando Alonso on the grid in 2026... just give him a title. Just give him the title because, if he's that dedicated to it, it's like for your own safety, bro, just give him the title. F1 Jordan F1. Yes, so the F1 Fantasy, I'm going to pin the link. Okay, it's not apparently the last thing I have saved. So in the description, you can find, it's the top link, F1 Fantasy League. So we're going to be doing a big feature on F1 Fantasy just before we get into the qualifying session as well, before I head off to watch the session. So I'm going to pin this link. So if you haven't joined and you would like to do so, so basically the winner for our F1 Fantasy League each year gets a trophy. The trophy for last year's winner has been shipped out. And if you'd like a cool trophy that says, well done, you've won the RaceBeacon Fantasy League for the year, hop in. I think we've got about 50 teams at the moment, so your chances are looking all right, because we had about 1,000 last year. because we basically had, I think it was our pre-qualifying stream last year or something, was just absolutely ridiculous. We had or one of our preview streams or something. I don't know what it was, but we had so many people join the league. It was crazy. So yeah, we'll be doing a big feature on that in a minute. Which engine do you think is the strongest this year? Okay, so I don't believe we've seen Ferrari turn up their engine to its max yet. I still think there was an element of sandbagging going on there with Ferrari in that FP3 session. I didn't think they would be sandbagging into FP3, but I think they are. I think there's still a lot of straight line speed left in that Ferrari car. I'm going to go back to the media thing, because what I want to see is take a look at speed traps from that last session. Because I did not actually catch the speed trap. So Charles Leclerc was quickest actually on the speed trap. But again, we were hearing things along the lines of that Ferrari engine should be comfortably the quickest. So, and the fact that it's level with the Mercedes, because Mercedes didn't have, with the engine freeze rules, you can only really change reliability upgrade aspects. Mercedes didn't get the chance to change a lot of reliability stuff. So maybe we're seeing Mercedes were running with a slightly higher engine mode during the session. But that'll be we'll wait to see that. I still think the engine running order is probably Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, and then the Renault. If I had to guess right now, obviously, when we see everyone turn the cars up to full pelt for, qualifying in 2 hours' time, then we'll get a much better idea. But at the moment, before we see them fully turn it up, I think Ferrari might have the strongest engine. Fernando in 2026 without a third title. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I just don't see him. I can't see him going that long. I think he'd want to. If he sees the chance for a title, he'll want to stick around. Because he does. He wants that third title. Why else would he have been sitting around in the midfield for the best part of a decade now? Because he wants that title. He's been waiting for this opportunity with a car this good for a decade. We're going to see a different Fernando Alonso this year. We're going to see an absolute beast, I think. What do you think the quali pace will be like for the top 10? So let's take a look at what it actually ended up being in that last session, time-wise, because I said during testing we could get a high 29.9, and I think I still stand by that. Obviously, we were a little bit off in that last session. That was the halfway point one, actually. Here we go. So obviously we ended up the session on the high 30. Oh no, it's low 32 actually. But I don't know, I'm now changing it to I think we'll be in the 30s for qualifying tonight, not a high 29. I mean, I said the high 29 would be a push. I was expecting a high 29, but I threw that out there as a bold prediction. Now I'm sticking with the 30s, actually. Low 30s. Do you think Aston Martin might be a competitor across the season? I mean, look, like we say, look at this graph here. So this is the amount of this is the testing time for CFD and wind tunnel testing that each of these teams have this season. Aston Martin have 20% more than their nearest competitor and nearly 40% more than Red Bull, which is just absolutely, that's massive. That is so massive for their season. If they use that time well, or they put it into next year's car, they can either dominate at the end of this year and, leading into next year, or come out next year with an even bigger step. And that would just be, that could be a beast. The amount of extra time they've got in the wind tunnel this year compared to their main competitors is just massive. It's such a big difference. Your prediction is a 29.8 on the dot. Fair prediction. And it absolutely could be. Once we get these engines turned up, and, it looked like on those FP3 runs, watching Verstappen and Alonso sort of on board and seeing what they were doing, it looked like it was Latifi driving, It was just pretty cautious. There was no, and they were leaving a lot of exit, they're leaving a lot of space on the exit of all the corners. There's a lot of time out there. There's still a lot of time out there. And I still think, I think Red Bull will be top. I don't know. I just see Verstappen getting a fairly comfortable pole today, maybe a 10th or two. But if Alonso is within a 10th or two, then yeah, Aston Martin this season will be a threat. Categorically, they will. Did Ferrari turn their engines up? I don't think they have yet. I thought they would coming into the session, but I don't think they have. I think there's still a couple of tenths with the engine mode extra with Ferrari. Obviously, all of the teams have about half a second with their engine modes to turn up. That's just what they do in practice sessions. But I think Ferrari have an extra 2 or 3 tenths on top of that compared to the other teams. So Ferrari will, they've got a lot of time they can add to this. Sandbagging to quality, exactly. Did Ferrari turn engines up? I think pole might be a 29.6 to 29.7. Ooh, that is a very quick time. I think Verstappen will be on pole. So do I. Predictions. I will go at the moment. Verstappen pole. Okay, now you're asking. I'm only confident about a Verstappen pole. Anything past that, I really don't know. So let's go for a really, really bold prediction. Okay, so this is... Realistically, there's 7 or 8 competitive drivers. So we've got that sort of top 4 team battle. I think Hamilton will split the Ferraris. Leclerc should come out on top. So I guess there's a segment of 3 that will be Leclerc, Hamilton, Sainz. That will probably be, I don't know, fourth to like 6th, something like, yeah. 3rd to 5th or 4th to 6th, somewhere in that region. I think that's a little block that we'll get there. I just see that happening. Then Russell below that. So there's our block of 4. So we've got a block with Verstappen on pole. Perez Alonso, that could go either way. Not really sure, to be honest. Depends how Perez does. So far, Max looks to have the edge on Checo by quite a bit, as he did last season. Equally, Alonso has a massive edge on Stroll with the injury and also the fact he's just better as a driver. And then you also have Hamilton so far has been absolutely bossing it against George. So, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. 29.5 might be a little too fast. Yeah, I don't think we'll see 29.5. That'll be... I don't think we'll get to the mid 29.5s. It could be. Like I say, there's still a lot of time in these engine modes. We're going to be in better conditions this afternoon, so we're going to get much more... Well, good running. The conditions are just good. They're that much better. That'll be good. How much was the diff, by the way, between Checo... Oh, sorry, between Checo. I don't know what I was reading there. So in the end, the difference between Checo and Max was... it was about 10th. It was about 10th, which I think is the closest it's been this weekend. But Max and Alonso were both definitely holding back on their lap. They can both go quicker. I mean, and that's not a car sandbag. Obviously, all the cars were sandbagging. But on top of that, you have driver sandbagging, definitely from Alonso and Verstappen. They're both capable of a hell of a lot more. Checo also left a lot of room at the final corner, so I think he equally was sandbagging. All the drivers are trying to hide it as well. They're just trying to hide what they can do, as on a team. So it's sort of exaggerating the sandbagging at the moment. George was slow because he was on the higher drag he went. Yeah, exactly. They were on different wings. But no, overall this weekend, Hamilton has done pretty well. So... It's looking all right. On the race running, Hamilton is a little bit stronger than George was. Max not sandbagging, I think. I think they're sandbagging slightly less. Looking at speed trap data, I think it's a little bit less strong sandbagging from Mercedes, but they're definitely still, they're still half a second away from where they're going to be this evening, at least, at very least. The question is just who's sandbagging the most. That's the big question. Which wing does Merc have? So yeah, they split them between the sessions. So I think Lewis had the lower drag wing and George had the high drag wing. So high drag, high downforce. Lewis had the lower drag, lower downforce, which normally is better for Bahrain, lower drag. Ferrari is faster than Aston Martin, no question. I think there is a question. I think there's definitely a question, but we have to see just how much Ferrari had their engines turned down by in this session. Because I just have that sneaking feeling 2 or 3 tenths they maybe left on the table on top of the extra sandbagging that everyone else is sort of doing as a group. So yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see what they can do. Really, really interested. Ferrari's fast Aston Martin. So yeah, I wouldn't... I think... I still wouldn't be surprised if we end up with a qualifying 1, 2, 3 of Max, Leclerc, Checo. And then Alonso 4th, That I wouldn't be shocked by that one bit. Like, at all. In fact, I'm sort of expecting it now. Because I can't see Ferrari dropping off that much in the off-season. How do they drop off that much in the off-season? How do you manage that? So yeah, especially when they had all of that room to make the engine upgrades, because they've increased the reliability, they can increase the engine modes as well. You're not going to get slower. They're not going to manage that. So Ferrari definitely have a little bit more time on the table that we just haven't seen from them yet. On top of the sort of general time that everyone's left out there at the moment. So yeah, no, absolutely, Ferrari have got a lot of time. They've got a lot of time they can bring to this, and they'll need it because look, their quickest driver was Charles Leclerc, who's 3 tenths off the Aston Martin. So yeah, they're gonna need that pace. Better hope they have it. Merc has a low drag wing, so it's fast, but the engine is not that fast. It's a drag or lack of it that's giving them speed. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Mercedes engine, ultimately, it wasn't the strongest last season by any means. They also had barely any breakdowns, so they obviously didn't have room to actually improve the performance of their engine. Whereas Ferrari, because of the amount of breakdowns they had and the amount of things that were consistently going wrong in their customers and them, they had so much room to make these massive upgrades under the engine freeze rules, under the reliability, allowance, that yeah, they should make a massive step engine-wise. Honda didn't really, or I guess the RBPT, the Red Bull powertrain, it's Honda, didn't really have any breakdowns. Like, there was a few, obviously, and, they've had room to improve based on that. But by no means the same stretch as Ferrari have had the scope to add performance upgrades along with the reliability upgrades. So Ferrari putting in the ability now to operate at a higher engine mode, that's really good for them. That's really good for them. About 63 to 65% Stroll was close to him, so it's not Fernando. The car's pretty good. Mercedes have a big ass engine package. Last year it was a bulge, and now now it's a shoulder. Yeah, I did notice that actually. I did notice that a little bit. There's quite a lot different on the Mercedes this year, to be honest. And also they're bringing their new their big new B spec side pod package and all of that sort of stuff. Big upgrade to Azerbaijan in just a month and a half's time, sort of. So yeah, that's big for Mercedes. I think that's when we'll see Mercedes really become competitive. I think they've got good scope in this car at the moment. There's a wide performance route they can go down, and it's a really positive route they can go down, but they actually have to develop it. And they will get to that point in a couple of weeks' time. A few races down the road. By the time we get to like Canada, they'll probably be competing right up there for regular podiums, wins, etc. So, man, I'm so hyped for this year now. Obviously, we'll wait and see what comes in qualifying, because if Red Bull go quickest by 4/10, then we're going, yeah, this might be a bit of a... But even if that happens, it's not going to be a boring season, because the Ferraris, the Aston Martins, the Mercedes all seem fairly similar on pace. The McLarens are there, the Alpines are there, the Haas is looking pretty good. Even if Max dominates this year, it should be a better season, because overall, it's just a bit more interesting this year. There's a lot more going on across the field. Last year we had massive splits. There was big field spread as well. Obviously, as you get with new regulations, that's what happens. You get big field spread. Some teams get it right, some teams get it wrong. We saw that last year. This year, though, everyone's starting to converge on the designs that they know worked last year. Yeah, they're making their own little tweaks to it, but they're starting to move towards what we know works. And that's why I still stand by 2025, 2026. That could be a new glory era for F1. That could be the glory years where it's just so close, because we've got the most spec parts we've ever had in Formula 1 history. Fact. That's categorically fact by the regulations. The most spec parts we've ever had. Mix that with 5 or 6 years of divergence on this one little, this one setup that we know works. We're going to have 10 identical cars come 2025, 2026. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be really good. I think the engine rules, especially where we've got like 5 engine manufacturers, that will shake it up a lot. I think that's sort of going to throw it off a little bit. But until the new engine regulations come in, we could have a couple of years of some brilliant F1. Some absolutely brilliant F1. I joined F1 Fantasy. Yeah, so guys, if you are just joining, I see we just had about 40 more people join. We have got the F1 Fantasy League running again. You can see it in the pinned comments. If you win a trophy. The trophy for last year's winner has been shipped out. It should arrive to them hopefully fairly soon. But yeah, like I say, if you win, you get a trophy and a little card from me. So it's pretty cool. And bragging rights. Of course, bragging rights as well is quite fun. So we're also playing a game on the predictions as well. So I'm going to go back over here. So this is who will qualify the highest between, and then there's 4 options. This is an ongoing thing this season where you guys are up against me. We're doing our predictions on this. We'll do 2 or 3 before each, competitive session. We'll do some more before the race tomorrow. We'll do some more today before qualifying. And yeah, basically whoever's closest gets points. And it's me v you guys. I think that's really fun. I really like the idea of that. So yeah, we'll be giving that a go. So if you haven't voted in that, do so. Also, if you haven't joined F1 Fantasy, and you even if you're just doing F1 Fantasy this year, and you need another league to join, come join us, and you can be in the chance of winning some Sorry, I'm plugging too much there. My throat's actually given up. Yeah, you can be in a chance of winning some prizes as well, which is really cool. Is it normal that it says you're in no leagues when you joined? Sometimes it's a bit of a messy app this year, F1 Fantasy. Let me quickly get on. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty messy how it's all working. So let's go over the teams in a minute as well. But I'm just going to quickly check the league section. Yes, so there we go. Oh, we've got 64 teams there now. Okay, so yeah, we're getting a lot more people joining. So if you haven't joined already, like I say, give that a go. You can win some prizes and stuff. It's really fun. I was using multiviewer for FP3, and it's a gauge. So what is this multiviewer thing? People keep mentioning it. I have no idea what it is at all. So I bet ain't no way Perez can be on par. No, I agree. I fully agree. And that's why Verstappen's not on that list. On the prediction list or little quiz. I don't know what we call this thing. Fans versus me. What do we call that? I don't know. Okay, I'll think of a name for it. But yeah, it's an ongoing thing this season that we'll be doing. My chair's gone down. There we go. It's better. Yeah, so I think Verstappen's a shoo-in for pole, to be brutally honest. I don't see the Aston Martin in qualifying actually being quicker than the Red Bull. I can see Alonso maybe beating Perez. And honestly, I don't know why for the first one I've picked such a hard question to answer, because it just means I'm going to, I'm going to end up behind on our first one, and that's it. I'm not going to see you guys for the rest of the season. Multiview is amazing. What is it? Do I watch... Untasfast fight? No, because I can't even say it. You can create a pit wall if you have an F1 TV Pro account. You can arrange driving. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, that is really cool. Oh, that's annoying. So yeah, basically what we've got, the problem with that in the UK is we don't have F1 TV. But that is amazing. That's so cool. That's not fair. We need F1 TV in the UK. You guys have got it absolutely made there. That's so cool. Okay, I'm in it. I know for sure. Okay, cool. That's really cool. So yeah, guys, I've just more people joining again. If you've not joined F1 Fantasy League and you were looking for an F1 Fantasy League to join, or you're in it last year, whatever, this is the league to join. The link is in the description, and it is a pinned comment as well. So it is the RaceBeacon Fantasy League for 2023, and if you win a trophy, and everyone likes a trophy, don't they? It's all good fun. Okay, that's cool. Max P3, sorry, Checo on pole. Alonso P2. Wow, that's a very bold guess. I mean, I just don't see Checo out qualifying Max, to be honest. I just don't see that happening. Yeah, they were pretty close in FP3, but it's not representative conditions to what we're actually going to have this afternoon for the actual qualifying session. These conditions are nowhere near the same. It's incredibly hot. Degradation's playing a factor. On an actual core engineering, fundamental engineering principle level, the cars are handling completely differently in the different temperatures. And, the tyre windows, how easy the midfield teams will find it to get into the tyre windows. The top teams might find overheating more of a problem. There's so many factors that come with these temperature changes. And that's why that's why last night was maybe more representative. And again, that just bodes well for Aston Martin, because they look very competitive in the race runs last night. Only 200ths off of Max Verstappen was Fernando Alonso, on average, over the race runs. And that is, that strategy, driver performance on a day, anything can swing it when it's that close. You can buy F1 TV when you have Apple TV. Yeah, I mean, but you can't use it in the UK. That's the problem, though. You can't actually use it in the UK, can you? Like, I have the the F1 TV Pro package. I have the access one, where I have access to all the archive races and live timings. I have that package. But that's all we're allowed in the UK. We can't get any better than that. The guy did the Hulk back challenge. He hasn't uploaded for. Oh, I remember. Okay, so I think I've seen some screenshots of some of their videos. Then, yeah, I don't really know. I don't think I've seen any videos of it on them though. But yeah, I've seen some pictures. Yeah, the curse of finishing P1 in Bahrain. Yeah, what about the Bahrain curse? This could be the last year of the Bahrain curse. Who knows? We'll have to see what happens in the race. Now, this might sound obvious, but I don't believe in the curse because, no, it's not very logical. But you see, I explained on stream for F1 testing why I think the curse exists, right? So Bahrain, you have as the first track, and it's a proper racetrack, but it's an incredibly abrasive surface. So cars that are going to work on these abrasive surfaces are ones that might likely normally struggle to get tyre temperature into the wheels as quickly. So I think there is a reason the curse exists. It's because Bahrain is sort of unlike most other tracks. So it's like, yeah, you've got a really quick car for Bahrain, but that car's not going to be as quick at Barcelona. It's not going to be as quick at Miami, Monaco, because they're very different circuits to Bahrain. So I don't think it's a curse. I think it's just fundamental engineering principles at play. And that is a quote I want to put on a shirt. Yeah, our new merch line coming out. It's not a curse. It's engineering fundamental principles. Thank you so much for the donation. Thank you so much for the donation. Sibuka, thank you very much. George Russell, can we win this, George Russell? Maybe. I mean, he seems like he's maybe a little bit off of what Lewis was doing earlier in the weekend. But yeah, it'll be interesting. But a racer, and this is from Lewis fan. This qualifying will be aced by Max. Red Bulls are just so far. Again, I agree with you there, Jake. It just seems to me at this moment in time, Red Bull, they've definitely got some more in the bag because they're expected to be the quickest team. So of course they're sandbagging. They don't need to show their performance. They know they're probably going to be the quickest. Aston Martin, Mercedes, Ferrari, yeah, they've got to show their pace because they need to understand their car better. They know they're in a battle. But Red Bull are probably sitting there going, yeah, we know our car's like 3 tenths quicker than everyone else. We don't need to do a performance run. Max is going to go out. He's going to ace it. It'll be fine. No worries at all. I think we saw maybe Perez going for a little bit more of a performance run than Max's was because Max is normally a little bit further ahead of Checo than a tenth. So as Max probably left driving-wise a couple of attempts on the table. But equally, watching Alonso's lap, Alonso definitely also left a couple of attempts on the table. So everyone out there at the moment, there's so much more time to be gained. It's just wait till qualifying. But it's fun to make these predictions now. That's the thing, I was watching, I'm like, yeah, it's FP3. I know it's not that representative really because the conditions are different, but I'm going to pretend it is because it's really fun. It was such a fun session to watch. Top end quality, Verstappen P1, Alonso P2, Perez P3. Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning on that bigger possibility, and honestly, I'm really struggling how I'm going to answer in the poll here. Because Perez, I can make a great case for him finishing second quickest, because I think Verstappen will be on pole no matter what, really. Alonso, I can make a great case for. I don't think I can make a case for Hamilton. I think it's third place at best for Hamilton today. And then Charles Leclerc. When Ferrari turn that engine up, is it going to be really quick? That's what I'm thinking now. If Ferrari turn that engine up like they're going to for qualifying, have they left more on the table than Mercedes, Red Bull and Aston Martin have? And it should be the case because we're expecting Ferrari to have a really good engine this season. So, don't know, but I'm really looking forward to finding out the answer because I can't wait for qualifying now. We've got 1 hour, 40 minutes to go and we are going to be right there. We will stop the stream about half hour before qualifying or so I can sort of go watch some of the build-up, talk to some of my friends and things like that. And also just watch it with family. We don't normally live stream the actual sessions themselves. Because I often find the majority of you guys leave because you want to watch the race, which is not blaming you because that's exactly what I want to do as well. But also I don't really want to commentate over the race while it's happening sort of thing. I might do it for 1 or 2 races this year where like my family aren't around or whatever, or if I'm away somewhere with my computer, I'm like, yeah, I'll stream the race. But majority wise we won't live stream the sessions, but we will be always before qualifying, always after quali, always before the race, always after the race to sort of discuss everything. And the after race streams are normally really good because that is when we wait to find out any of the penalties that are being applied. And I'm just saying now, if we have a 6-way title fight or whatever, something really stupid, there's going to be a lot of crashes between the top guys this year because it's just naturally going to happen. And what a year it could be for those live streams. Every single race we're going to be live for 3 hours afterwards talking about penalties. Can't wait. It sounds really fun. Ferraris will probably be ahead of the Mercedes. Yeah, I'd think so. Before Mercedes get their big upgrade package in Azerbaijan, I think they might struggle in these first couple of races. I think they pushed a little bit more this morning than we saw from maybe some of the other teams. So yeah, I would be inclined to agree with you there. What's happening on Twitter world? What's happening here? Wait, is the F2 race on now? hang on. Is the F2 race on now? Have I missed? Oh, I thought it was on after qualifying. Huh. Well, I'm going to put the F2 race on if that's actually on now. So what's this? So, right, what's this? F1 fans should pay attention to Fernando Alonso calling Aston Martin expectations. But he hasn't really been doing that. Fernando Alonso's been the one sort of hyping it up a little bit. But not too much. I don't know, we've got a bit of a mix from Fernando Alonso in the media today. Oh, it is the F2 sprint race. I did not know that was on right now. Yep, cool. Oh, well, I only missed 2 corners. It's not too bad. Ooh, that was close. I don't think Red Bull have as big of an advantage as everyone says, but they do seem to be the car to beat. Yeah, I think they will have 2. I think Max will have 2, 3, 4 attempts, to be honest. over the nearest non-Red Bull driver. Obviously, Perez might end up doing whatever the hell he wants. You know, he'll either be half a tenth off Max, he'll somehow beat Max, or he'll be like 5 tenths back. It's so hit and miss with Checo, depending on whether he gets that setup really tuned to his liking. Aston right there for quali for the race. I'm not so sure. I don't know. I think it's probably the other way around. I think Aston might be a little bit weaker in qualifying than compared to Red Bull in the race. I think it might be the other way around, really. And how will crash in 10 minutes? Yeah, exactly. Big fan of go on Boschong. So yeah, here we go. So this is some comments from James Vowles, obviously the Williams team principal. We're looking to set foundations that remain here not for just 1 year, but more 3 to 5 years, which is obviously how long these aerodynamic regulations are in effect until we end up with some new ones. Hopefully make the car a lot lighter and a lot smaller. That's what we're hoping for the new regulations. But so far, I'm happy with closer racing. I'll accept that. But I would like to see these cars be about 20-30% smaller than they are now. You know, we really need to make a big change in that front. So yeah, James Val says he's ready for Williams to sacrifice performance with its current F1 car and devote more resources to bigger long-term gains. And that's the right approach to take, because if we're being brutally honest here, they're not going to be that close. You know, they haven't really got much of a chance, have they? You know, it's not. We're up to 70 teams in a fantasy league. Can we get to 100 by the end of this stream? That's what we're looking at. So there's 75 of you watching now. If all of you guys enter the F1 Fantasy League, we'll be on 210 teams come the end of it. So let's see if we can get to 100 by the end of the stream, because that's a very good number. Very good number to have. I'm still confused on top 3 because Aston might be showing their top stuff while others might be sandbagging. Absolutely. But Alonso sounded very surprised when he found out that he was still top when Max set his lap, you know, just seconds before, whatever it was, or the other. I can't remember which one set that lap first. It was Alonso after. Alonso went ahead of Max. Alonso sounded really surprised. And the only thing that I can think of that is it sounds like Alonso was leaving a lot on the table. That's all I can think there, is he was leaving a lot on the table. He's just surprised that he was still quickest. Or they were expecting Red Bull to show their hand a little bit more, and he was going, oh, really? Because clearly they didn't, because he was trying. You know, you could interpret it both ways. He was either not trying and surprised he was quickest, or really trying and... really trying and he's surprised he's still quicker than the Red Bulls. That's probably what's happening. I feel Red Bull are turning down their engine or trying not to show tons. Yeah, and like I said, I absolutely stand by that. You know, the Red Bulls are just not pushing as hard at the moment. It's not even not pushing as hard. The actual drivers are probably really trying, but the engine modes, the just whole setup generally, I don't think so. Pochette already up to P6. He's doing a pretty good job there. This is the most excited I've been for one race. I know I am. I'm really excited for this one now. Really, really excited for this race. Because the race pace between the Aston Martin and the Red Bull looks really close. Like, it looks really close between them. So I'm just ridiculously excited for this. And like I said, I'm going to keep bringing this graph up because it is the most important thing to remember throughout the course of this season. You have Aston Martin, a team who are directly competing with Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, having 20% more development time than Mercedes, 25% than Ferrari, and a whole 37% more than Red Bull, which is just bonkers. That is so much more time for them to develop that car. If they're a couple of attempts behind today, by the end of the season, if they decide to use all of that on this year's car, they'll be up there. They're going to be right up there. So I'm so hyped for this. I'm really, really excited for this qualifying session, this race, and if the qualifying's close, this season as well. Because one of the main things I'm really looking forward to at the moment is a sort of F1 tech nerd. You know, I'm an automotive engineering student. I have watched motorsport for like 15 years of my 20 years being here. I love a development race. I absolutely adore a development race in Formula 1. And I think that's what we've got this year. Just simply because of how these regulations work now with the wind tunnel testing time. It just leads to some teams having more time. And I love it. I really do. Don't read my F1 fantasy, please. Checo behind Alonso and Hamilton. Maybe? I'm not sure. I'm not sure Hamilton as well. I think Checo might maybe have the edge, but it all depends how hooked up Checo gets, because we've seen him be really good before, you know, snatch pole positions, and we've seen him be miles off of Max before, and the car just doesn't work for him. We've seen both Checos. Ooh, poor Cher, a bit of contact there. That's not good. Any Indians in chat I want to watch F1 race, I got the link. I think we do have a fair few Indians in chat, but yeah, if any of them don't, there you go. My bold quality prediction is that there will be another 2018 Singapore situation where Merc are not on pace and then Lewis pulls a stonking lap out of his ass. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think, honestly, this year we're going to have a determined Alonso, a determined Hamilton. Max might not be as, driven as he has been in previous years because he's now a two-time champion. He's like, yeah, it's fine. And in his head, he might think, oh, yeah, Aston Martin, Mercedes, they're not really that much of a threat. And it just underestimates it ever so slightly, at least in the first couple of races. And that would be bad news because these first third of the season, I'd say, these first sort of like 7-8 races, Max, I think, to be safe this year, needs to pick up a really good amount of points because, as I refer to, this graph, this table of data here, they're at a natural disadvantage this season as they develop the car. They're naturally in a weaker position than those around them. And of course, the cost cap penalties just adding to it. It's just making it even worse. So I'm just so hyped. I'm just so ridiculously hyped for this qualifying session. It's only an hour and a half now. Only an hour and a half until quali gets underway. And I am buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing right now. The absolute scenes if Alonso takes pole here. It would be massive. That would be absolutely massive. And yeah, I mean, that would probably set them up to be pretty dominant throughout the rest of the season. But I will add, so the Aston Martin's strengths seem to be in about the medium speed corners, and the Red Bull seems to have its strength in the slow and the fast speed corners. So basically, Aston Martin have built a car that's just going to absolutely dominate the Barcelona Grand Prix, get Alonso his home win, and then they'll build on something for next year. Obviously, that's a little bit of a joke, but like that's a car that, on the face of it, looks like it was built for Barcelona, sort of, those sort of tracks. And yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see what they do. I really can't. I'm just excited. I'm just really, really excited for everything that's going to come this season. Like, any new season, we have all of these possibilities in our head. It's like, oh, what if this happens? What if this happens? Oh, could we see this? Could we see that? I just hope we see all of it. I'm now sitting here going, what if we have a 4-way title fight? How amazing would that be? We're going to get to this qualifying session, and when I'm streaming in about 3 hours' time, I'm going to be like, oh, this is going to be it's going to be a dull season, guys. Max was on pole by half a second. Yeah, there's not going to be much of a title fight this year. But that's the fun of pre-season. We can sit here and just, we're still in pre-season officially. We can just have fun with it. We can have fun with our predictions and just go all out on it. I love it. Middle of the season is when Red Bull will start to struggle, I think, because Red Bull already has a good start, but this year will fall back. Yeah, and exactly, that's why we have this graph up. It's because, yeah, if they start the season strong, great. But if it's only a 10th or two, they're in trouble, and they're going to need every single win they can get with Max or Checo. They've got to... This is the strongest... I think, yeah, no, I'm happy to say that. Red Bull this weekend is probably the strongest they will be all season. I think from here, all of the other teams start bringing in their delayed upgrade packages and that sort of thing, and they're only going to close. And then obviously we get to the middle half of the season, that's when this starts to play a factor, because Red Bull won't, they'll have used up a lot of their time by then. I tell you. But yeah, this weekend is probably the strongest Red Bull are going to be all season. So keep that in mind. Considering how close the field is at the top, things like safety car, rain, etc. could play such a big role. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yes. And that's what's so good. I miss the 2007 to like 2013, sort of till the new regulations came in. With the engines, the new turbo hybrid era. I miss how close that era was, how close the midfield were to the typical front runners, how many shock results you got, how many car-dependent victories you got. It was so good. And yeah, I think this is the closest we're seeing to a return to it. I think next year, that's when we could see a proper return to it. Budget cap will have been in effect for quite a few years. The top teams can't spend all of that money that they've always been used to injecting into their car. They can't do that anymore. And the midfield teams will start to close in, just naturally, because they're on an even financial footing now. It's so good. Honestly, all the changes F1 have made, I'm pretty happy with. I don't like a lot of the new tracks they're adding. I'm not a big fan of the season being longer, all of that sort of stuff, blah, blah, blah. But fundamentally, on a competitive viewpoint, they have made the right decisions, and they've made very interesting decisions that are going to make the sport benefit as a result of it. So I'm really happy with what they've done. on the budget cap and the the staggering of the win total time. Really happy with that. Just want an 8th title for Hamilton. Yeah, I mean, he might have a pretty decent chance this year as well. He really might. Mercedes normally have a good development curve. They have more development time than Ferrari, and they have good more development time than Red Bull by quite a lot. So, yeah, again, Mercedes also in a really strong position. First couple of races, I think they're going to struggle. But they struggled first couple of races last year, and they nearly won races come the end of the season. They're not going to be as bad this weekend as they were at the start of last season, so let's assume a similar curve. They'll be right up there winning races come the end of the year, if everything sort of happens in the same way. So, yeah, Mercedes, very much Hamilton, Russell could be winning a championship this year. No doubt about it. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm really getting into it. I'm really getting into this now. This is going to be good. So we'll be live for about 1 more hour before I head off to go watch the qualifying session and stuff. So I'll be interested to see what you guys think. We'll get a couple... Right, so... Last chance to vote in this poll that we've got here. This is the one where you guys go up against me. So my prediction for this, so out of who will qualify highest between Perez, Alonso, Hamilton and Leclerc, I think I really want to throw a curveball in. And I'm going to go Charles Leclerc. It's a bold prediction, but I just have a feeling Ferrari left a little bit on the table with their engine more than the other teams did in that session. Because we've heard so much about how strong the Ferrari engine should be this year. I just have a sneaking feeling. So I'm going with Charles Leclerc, which is the lowest option that you guys have voted on. So I thought, let's shake it up a little bit. I'm going to Charles Leclerc. Because I think even worst case now, I think he's qualifying 3rd or 4th. And that's, that means I wasn't too far off. So yeah, it looks like you guys are very convincingly going with Fernando Alonso to finish highest on this one. So may the better predictors win. I don't know. And also, you can play this independently as well. I'm obviously counting it as fans versus me. But if you know you're going to be in a lot of these streams or you want to have your own little personal thing, then yeah, just note down your one and you can have your own little virtual battle against me. So officially, my vote for this, for who will qualify highest between these guys, is Charles Leclerc. That's officially my one there. So yeah, we'll end that poll in just a moment's time, unless we have about 100 votes come in for one of the other drivers. I think that is pretty much set. So yeah, we'll see. I think if you have Mercedes engine in 2014, you would be on podium except Nico Hülkenberg. Yeah. I mean, I want to see a Hülkenberg podium this year as well. I want Haas to just this weekend be really strong, get Hulk his podium, and then, they can just sort of sit at the back for the rest of the season and no one cares. That's fine. I do want to see a Hülkenberg podium. It'd be so nice for him. I've never been so excited about qualifying session. I don't think I have. I don't think I was this excited for last season's, because we knew we were getting a shaken up grid. We knew after testing, we got 6 days of testing. We sort of knew what was going to happen. Red Bull, Ferrari probably top. Mercedes might struggle. We weren't sure if to believe them or not when they said they were going to struggle, but we thought, yeah. I mean, they're not going to be top 2 maybe. I tell you. But no, I'm properly hyped for this session. Really, really hyped. This is just gonna be fun. It's just gonna be a really fun session. But also between Q1 and Q3, the potential grid is gonna shake up so many times because Red Bull won't push as much in Q1. Ferrari won't either. Mercedes, I think, will be pretty much up there right from the start because they know they've sort of got to do that. I think they're the team struggling the most out of that top 4. Aston Martin might also hold a little bit back. Probably not as much as Red Bull and Ferrari, but they might hold a little bit back. Then you get to Q2, Red Bull, Ferrari, they start to turn the engine modes up a little bit. And like, oh, here we go. This is what we're going to use in the race now. Drivers take a few more risks, getting those extra couple of hundredths that add up over the course of the lap. Then you get to Q3. And it's all completely different to what you saw in Q1 and Q2. And it's like, whoa, what the hell? You have no idea who's going to be on pole. I can't wait. The first qualifying session of the year, because of the sandbagging the teams do, even in Q2, I love it. I just love it so much. What's Rishi saying? Hamilton's supremacy, Alonso's supremacy. I don't know. Steiner boat. Fair enough. Haas early Q1 exit. We could see a Haas in an early Q1 exit. But the car seems pretty quick. The Haas seems alright, but it's got a bit darker. Hang on, let me turn my lights down a bit. Ooh, that's very different, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I could see one of the Haases maybe having a really unfortunate exit early on if they don't get the lap that they need in. But no, I think they'll be alright. I think we'll see a Haas in Q3, maybe. We'll definitely see a Haas in Q2. No doubt about that. We'll definitely get a Haas in Q2. Haas not X in Q. Yeah. I maybe one of the Haases might X in Q1, but who knows? I don't think we can count out anybody in top 4 teams poll. I think we can. Stroll, Sainz, maybe not Perez, but Stroll and Sainz just seem off it this weekend. Stroll's got his injury, obviously, so I guess it's forgiven quite a bit. And Sainz, it's not a strong track for him, Bahrain. It's historically not a very strong track for him, and also Leclerc has been quite comfortably beating him so far this weekend. But yeah, the other 6 drivers, yeah. I don't see a slam dunk reason that none of them could be on pole. Apart from Sainz and Russell. Yeah, I guess Russell as well, maybe. Seeing FP1, 2, 3 time, I think it's Q3 disqualification would be diverse. If Hulkenberg even get close to podium, I will eat something. I don't know, you choose. You can eat... Well, no, I mean, I'll give you some food to eat. You know, you can eat your hat or something, but I feel like that's just mean. I meant apart from the second... Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, fair enough. But no, I mean, even like Russell, I think, is in with a shout of pole, you know. He's probably not, but I don't see why not, you know. Between McLaren and Haas, who do you think will do better this? I think that's a good question. I think Lando will qualify highest, although I could see Hulkenberg or Magnussen really pulling something out the bag. Oh, you've asked a good question there. Here we go. That's our next poll. So, right, this is the first poll that we've got done. So, Alonso wins. So, that's you guys vote. You guys have voted for Fernando Alonso in our head-to-head. I voted for Charles Leclerc. So, that's that poll over. Next poll we have coming up is... which team's top driver will qualify higher? I'm going to include 3 teams. We're going to do McLaren. We're going to do Haas. And I think Alpine are in that battle as well. So I'm going to put Alpine in. So this is the next poll that we can have a go at. Oh, well, that's annoying. What I'm going to have to do is unpin that. Put the link again. And there we go. So there's the F1 Fantasy link again. If anyone didn't get it the first time, there's the F1 Fantasy link. And I'll have to repin it. So it goes. There we go. Cool. So officially, I think my vote on this will be McLaren. I think I just see Lando pulling out a lap, but I also wouldn't be shocked if it was Haas or Alpine. This one is just literally roll of the dice, as it's looking like with the early votes coming in. This one, I think, is purely a roll of dice. That could be anything. That really could. Yeah, 7-time world champion Michael Schumacher. My actual predictions are that Nikita Mazepin will steal the Williams from the garage and stick it on pole with the engine at the lowest power. He's just built different. I know, he just is, isn't he? Just too good. Do you think Haas played games, took Mazepin for money and Schumacher for some fame? Potentially. Like, undoubtedly, right? Schumacher, Mazepin was a really rubbish lineup. Both of them being rookies, that was a horrendous option. No idea why Haas did that. Still to this day, one of the stupidest things I think I've ever seen a Formula 1 team do. And I've seen a Formula 1 team do some I've watched Ferrari before, so I've seen F1 teams do really stupid things. And that was an awful lineup. That was an absolutely horrendous lineup. And now they've got a couple of drivers who they probably should have hired 2 or 3 years ago when they were in a better physical condition. And Hulkenberg really should have left the sport, I don't think. I think he's definitely good enough to be a very solid midfield point scorer. What about the whole weekend? What do you mean whole weekend? So like, between those teams over the whole weekend? So like points wise, I think probably Alpine. I think Alpine will get a double points finish. Haas and McLaren will only get a single points finish. Don't know what position it will be, but that's how I see it going. Last time all rookie lineup go well, yeah, just no. Imagine just being 10th in constructors just to build some hype. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Piastri is starting to shine. Yeah, I mean, he looked pretty good in FP3. He put in a good lap time in the end. This year's rookies look much more exciting. Yeah, I mean, categorically, the rookies this year are better than Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin were. Like, no doubt on that at all. Oscar Piastri, really talented. Logan Sargent, really, really talented. Nick de Vries, he is a world champion in Formula E, but he's a world champion. So, credit where it's due. How would you predict the race pace of the top 4 teams? I think Aston Martin and Red Bull, pretty close together. Red Bull probably just edging it over the course of the whole race, but pretty close. Then Ferrari, maybe a tenth or two a lap off, because I think Ferrari will suffer from degradation more than the Aston Martin and the Red Bull will. And then Mercedes, especially if they're experiencing setup problems at the moment, will probably be the fourth quickest on the race pace. So, race pace prediction. I'm actually happier with the race pace prediction than I am with the qualifying prediction, to be honest. So yeah, that'd be fun. So my top four for race pace, I'm going Red Bull, Aston Martin, very close together, but Red Bull just having the edge. Then Ferrari, a little bit behind, and then McLaren maybe, then Mercedes, sorry, tenth or two on top of that behind, I think. That wouldn't shock me. I think that's a fairly fair prediction. 2019 Rookie Part 2, proper, yeah. Let's just look at better. There we go. Okay, so yeah, guys, if you are just joining a stream and you didn't know we're running the F1 Fantasy League for this year, if you win, you get a trophy. It's the link to it's pinned in the comments. It's the top link in the description, and it's also pinned in the live chat as well. How many teams have we got in there now, actually? Because our goal for the stream is to end it with 100 teams having entered. Let's see what we're at. We are up to 77 teams. So that is only, you can enter 3 teams each. So that's only like another 10 of you. So we need 9 of you to come in and join the Fantasy League. That's all we need from today's stream, and I'll be a happy man. Here we go. So we've got some F1 data analysis from this. So percent of lap at full throttle. Red Bull was mighty in this regard, putting the power down so easily means superior mechanical traction, downforce, and possibly lower engine mode as well. The McLaren was either having more fuel or a very bad grip. Yeah, I mean, McLaren, I'd probably go very low grip on that one because it didn't look like it was a very grippy car at all. But this is some good insight. I love the F1 data analysis account. It's so good. Fellow student. Don't know what university is that, but he's studying a PhD, so good for him. Here we go. So this is the only 0.22 seconds between the first and third best car. Track dominance is 25.5% for Alonso, 36.9% for Verstappen, and 37.5% for Hamilton. So Hamilton actually having the most distance with the dominance map, which is really interesting. Wouldn't have expected, as I note here, curiously, the inverse order compared to performance. So the Aston Martin's really quick at the most important parts of the track, it seems. And the Mercedes is really quick on the bits where you're only getting marginal gains, which seem to be the straights. And I think, to me, this backs up my theory that Mercedes did have the engine turned up a little bit more than the Red Bulls and Ferraris especially, because by the time we get to qualifying, there will definitely be a red. There'll be some red on this map from Ferrari, especially at the end of the straight. Surely that's what we're expecting. At least I'd be shocked if we didn't get it. When's quality going to start? At the bottom, we got the countdown. I wish Williams was still sandbagging. Yeah. What were Williams like? They were. I know they were. Were they like 18th, 19th? I think, was it something along those lines? Ferrari sandbagging, possibly Leclerc over Alonso qualifying in race, maybe Alonso over Leclerc. Yeah, I mean, I think the Ferrari degradation in the race is what's going to set them back. And honestly, Mateo, Mateo, I don't know how to say your name. But yes, I fully agree with you there. Fully agree. Vettel must be so mad for retiring. I know, he must be right now. Yeah, and this makes me think, surely he knew how quick they were going to be this year, so I think he was forced out. I think they've gone for the big hire in Fernando Alonso. They're like, yeah, you know what, Seb, you're not destroying Stroll by as much as we know you probably should be, so we're going to get a driver who probably will. And just could sort of just carry the team on his back. I think that's sort of what they've done. International shipping on that trophy might hurt, brother. Yeah, I mean, thankfully, what happened this year was a British person won, so that was fine. But no, honestly, what I would do in that situation is just find a local to you company that makes trophies and buy one off of their website and get it shipped to you, so I don't have to do international shipping. That would be my plan on that one. So it's all good, and we're supporting local businesses nearby you. See, look, not only are we RaceBeacon, we are also Patriot Beacon for all of your countries. We're Globalist Beacon, that's what we are. I said 2021 that Aston were going to be quick in 2023 beyond because of the new factory. Yeah, and you're spot on. Next, this year they've made a big jump. Next year they'll probably make a big jump as well because they'll have their new facilities. Oh, that's a big lockup. They'll have their new facilities come online, and then 2025 they'll have a full year, previous year, with those facilities to make a car, and that will be massive. The advantage they'll get from a full in-house, all the new facilities, all the new staff, all of it coming together finally. they're the next dominant team. Aston Martin are the next dominant team, no question. I don't like the fact they're getting rid of the tyre blankets, but then not my headache. It's for, but they're not anymore. I think it's pretty much been vetoed. I don't think that's really an option anymore. The getting rid of the tyre blankets, and it makes sense. You know, before I did study engineering, my opinion on this would have been, yeah, well, you know what? They're big boys. They can do it. They can, you know, they know the career they chose, all of that sort of thing. But no, actually understanding the tyre dynamics and, you know, everything about it is incredibly complex. But having studied it, yeah, no, I appreciate getting rid of tyre blankets with these Pirelli tyres. It's not similar to something you can do in IndyCar, Formula E, all of those series that don't have tyre blankets. They're very different tyres with very different performance levels. So, yeah, I understand not getting rid of them. Latifi also topped F3, yeah, because he was a goat. That was the one time he ever showed his true pace, because he was so quick that basically he couldn't do it, because the FIA said to him, well, look, it's not going to be fair if you dominate by, you know, as much as we know you can, so they asked him to slow down. That's what they did. So Blue, it's all about race pace. Read some F1 fantasy teams. Best one, get £1. Right, so the problem I've got, because I did a public league this year, and I didn't realise this was a problem, is I can't click on it. I can't get into it to look. Yeah, it says I'm the owner and stuff, and, you know, it's all really cool. I can't get in to look at it. And it's really annoying, 'cause genuinely, my favourite thing is going over your team names, all of that stuff. So let's go over my team names, shall we? Because we're getting quite close to quali now. So we have a total shunt, which is good. Has to win and tweak my diff. I've gone a little bit saucy on my names this season. If I go to, did I get this set up? Oh, no, I didn't get it set up. I started setting up a separate scene where that was all better and you could see the whole page. So basically what we're going to have to do is just zoom right in. So this is my team for the start here. Oh, it doesn't work properly. Okay, there we go. I think that's got the whole frame in. Has that got the whole frame in? Yes, it does. Lovely. So this is my first team that I've entered in all of like the single tournaments. So we've got Verstappen as the DRS driver. Alonso, you know why. Albon, considering changing that actually. Is there anyone a little bit cheaper? Oh no, I don't want to play chips. Hang on. I'm gonna maybe tweak this, see if I can work it that I don't have Albon, because I think the Williams is actually worse than I thought it was going to be. So I can afford, I might have to go Hulkenberg. I think Hulkenberg out of this lot are going to finish highest, so I might have to go Hulkenberg for that one. Yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with that financially. Also, I think Hulkenberg's definitely underpriced for how well he's going to perform. So no, I'm happy with that. I'm going to make that change. Right. Yeah, confirm change. There we go. Which does now mean if Haas get a double DNF, I am screwed because 2 of my teams have got 2 Haas drivers in. Yeah. Williams told Latifi to slow down and not show pace so they could improve car for other driver because Latifi showed his true pace, so he'd run away with champion. Yeah, exactly. It just wasn't fair, you know? If Latifi showed his full potential, what's the point? You know, it's just unfair on all of the other cars out there, you know? See, I see why they did it. I forgot about fantasy teams after first race last year. Yeah, I know. The only reason I think I'm going to remember this time is because my university group, there's 6 of us in our group. We're Laguna Seca. That's our group name. If any of you are watching, hi! Shout out to the Laguna Seca bros. I should do. Yeah, we've got an F1 fantasy league on that, and I'm hoping at least for the first half of the season that will keep me going until I forgot. When is quality starting? You can see it on the countdown at the bottom of the screen. 1 hour, 10 minutes until we have qualifying getting underway. So we're going to be live for another 40 minutes, and then we will be heading off to go enjoy watching, you know, the preview of qualifying, all of that stuff. Watch qualifying itself, and then we'll come back on live afterwards, which I can't wait to do because we'll know everything. You know, we'll know by that point. In 2 hours, we'll probably know how the season's going to shake up, and I can't wait for it. This lighting is absolutely horrendous. That's better. This camera is a bit awful on the lighting, to be honest. It's because it's got all the auto adjust modes on, and I keep trying to make it better. But honestly, in trying to make it better, I keep making it quite a lot worse. So I've just decided I'm not going to play with the camera until I have like loads of spare time to properly work on it. So I'll maybe do that tonight. But yeah, lighting levels are horrific. Let's do that. Does that make it better? No. No. What if I go close? Ooh. No. No, so what that was a really bad idea. Let's open that back up again. See, that's better, but it's still not great. It's still very oversaturated. Anyway, enough about cameras. What affects points more in F1 Fantasy drivers and constructors? I think... I mean, I'm not actually entirely sure. We did read over the point scoring system, but it's changed quite a lot from last season. So I'm not actually entirely sure how it works anymore. I've got this team, you know, these sort of two... well, this team especially is very constructor heavy. Because we've only got Perez and Verstappen as like the high scoring drivers. And Alonso is, but he's cheap. So that's the only reason he's there. So that's constructors heavy. This one's a mix of driver and constructor heavy. And this one's driver heavy. So basically, whichever one does well over the first 3 races, I think that'll give me my answer. Actually, I just realized that you guys haven't actually been able to see the third team. It is this. We have Russell, Verstappen, Leclerc, Alonso, which I can see being a top 4 in quite a few races. Then Bottas, Aston Martin, and Alpine. I think this is a really good team, to be honest. I really do. I think that third team's going to do quite well. But I don't know how the weighting works, to be honest. Put the chips. Yeah, I don't know what to do with the chips. I really don't know. I haven't really properly read up on them yet. So I know you have like Limitless, which is like your limitless transfers. Wildcard, which way you can change it all for one race. Final Fix, not sure. Is that you can do it after the deadline one day, I think, or something like that. Autopilot does it so it auto DRS picks your best driver from that weekend. So I'm saving that for a sprint race weekend. No negative sounds really good. Not sure what position to actually use that in yet. I'll have to sort of do the mental maths on that one. And then you have the extra DRS feature as well, which gives you 3 times the amount of points instead of 2 times the amount of points. So that's pretty cool. Watch out, Samook F1 Fantasy. I know. Well, one of my teams has all the alpha drivers with 2 not so great driver and teams. Fair enough. Fair enough. When does it start? When does what start? The session, the qualifying session starts in 1 hour, 7 minutes, as you can see in the countdown at the bottom of the screen. F1 Fantasy, the deadline, I have no idea when that is, to be honest. Deadline is in 1 hour, 7 minutes. So that's, okay, it's the same time as quali starts. So when the green light goes in qualifying, that's when the F1 Fantasy deadline is. So like I say, guys, if you're just joining now, like I know people are, the F1 Fantasy League is here. We're going to try to get to 100 teams by the end of this stream. So we have 1 hour to get 21 more teams in the league. That's what we're trying to do. It is the top link in the description, and it is a pinned comment in the chat as well with the poll. Yeah, and the winner gets a trophy, which is really cool. And yeah, the one for last year's winner has been shipped. Hopefully, I'll see if I can get a picture from him when it comes out, and I'll share it all on the socials and stuff with a big well done. Yeah, so that's fun. Hamilton's overpriced as hell. Like, he's massively overpriced, Hamilton. If last place Warrior win the league, I don't know. You know what we could do is we also we'll buy a wooden spoon for whoever comes last. Whoever owns the team that comes last in the league, I will buy them a wooden spoon. There you go. So trophy for the winner, wooden spoon for the loser. Cool. It's a good plan, guys. It's a good plan. Yeah, Hamilton's overpriced. Hello, Nikki Jose George. How you doing? You will? Yeah, I'm going to buy a wooden spoon. For whoever comes last gets a wooden spoon. Just pick Williams after. Yeah, exactly. They're definitely the 2 back markets this year. My prediction for the Q1 knockout. I think Albon might sneak out Q1. But then I'm starting to think, well, who are they going to drag in? You know, who? Then one of the Haas drivers at Fret, the alphabet. I think we'll probably have De Vries, Zhou Guan Yu, Sargent, and I'm trying to think who the 5th's going to be, to be honest. So yeah, you have Sonoda, Sargent, De Vries, Zhou, and then a battle for 16th that I don't know. I really genuinely don't know who's going to go out in Q1. That might be harder to predict than the top guys, to be honest. Genuinely, Q1 might be harder to predict than Q3. Do you mean F1 Fantasy or in real life? I have no idea at all. What? So what? The wooden spoon that can go to F1 Fantasy. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna ship a wooden spoon to the Williams factory or something, unless I said something else and I don't know what you're talking about. That spoon has my name on it. Yeah, there you go. Your prediction for Q1? Yeah, okay, just hold on. Maybe Hulkenberg or Piastri? Yeah, maybe. But I equally, I don't know. I think they've both shown, maybe in the race they'll end up a little bit lower down, because obviously they've been out of F1 racing for ages. Piastri hasn't done a proper race in ages at all. Neither's Hulkenberg, really. So that'll be interesting. Yo, Ronaldo or Messi? Well, this is an uncontroversial question. Probably years ago I'd said Ronaldo, but now I'd say Messi. There you go. Do you mean F1 Fantasy or in real life? But how to get? Oh, how to be? Probably both. No. F1 Fantasy definitely. Honestly, Hamilton is at a stage in his F1 career where he can ask for any price he wants, because him as a brand is so big. I don't think it's possible for him to be overpriced. But in F1 Fantasy, yes, he's overpriced. Hulkenberg can race until he won't. Yeah, pretty much. Like Alonso. They'll just keep going. Oh, sorry, thirsty. But yeah, any extra predictions or anything that we want to get in, do just send them our way. Let's take a look at the poll that we've got going on. So, which team's top driver will qualify higher? McLaren, Haas, or Alpine? I think rightly you guys have gone with Alpine, but I wouldn't be shocked with either three. I really genuinely wouldn't be shocked by either of those three at all. Q3 entry is going to be, I think, that could easily be 5, 6, 7 drivers within a tenth, 2 tenths. Like, the midfield looks really, really close. Really close. Bold prediction, Daniel will get the Red Bull seat. Yeah, I mean, that seems to be his only route back into Formula 1 at the moment, especially with the wages that he'd want. So, yeah. But Perez is going to have to do quite bad for that. Like, that's such a big decision for Red Bull to make, especially if it's like mid-season. That'd be big. I could see one of the Alpines at Q2. I agree. Gasly maybe. Gasly normally qualifies well though. Maybe last place should be a stainer instead of a wooden spoon. Oh, strainer, sorry, yeah. Instead of a wooden spoon. Hopefully he gets in before Vegas. I'd love to see him at Vegas. It would just be nice for him, wouldn't it? He's wanted that race for years. Both Aston, both Red Bull, both Merc barely, and a Ferrari. Albon, Hulkenberg, and De Vries for the sake of it. Wow. That's a bold prediction. Bold prediction. Another bold prediction. Alfa Romeo, dark horse of the midfield. Maybe they've just been hiding their pace. You never know. Where exactly do we stand on the AlphaTauri? I think it's down there with the Williams. Look, I've been saying this since pre-season. They've not got a good driver lineup. It's not a good driver. It's not as bad as Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. That was an awful lineup. But Nick De Vries and Yuki Tsunoda. If that's the best the junior Red Bull race program has to offer, yep, it's pretty touch and go. McLaren, sorry, right. Max only did one run on C3 while Alonso did multiple. We will see the real pace soon. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Alonso did, 2 or 3 runs on that C3 tyre, whereas Max did his first run on some C1s. They did a little bit on C2 and went to C3 at the end. So, yeah, I think he sort of did performance run on all the tyres to sort of see what they'd be able to do qualifying-wise, maybe. Saving a set of soft tyres for the Q3 session. Yuki is the next paid driver that has a target on his back. Yeah, Yuki or Zhou, I feel like, are the next ones to go. Definitely next ones to go is Yuki or Zhou. I won't be that surprised if Stroll is out of Q2 because that wrist injury could have... yeah, but I don't know. The car's looking pretty quick. I feel like the car can sort of carry him through it. But equally, if Aston Martin do fall back a couple of tenths relative to the top guys in midfield in between FP3 and qualifying, then yeah, I could see it happening as well. One of them did... Oh, I've got a phone call. I'm not answering it. Stroll will be fighting quali, but will struggle in the race because of his wrist. Yeah, I fully agree with that. Fully agree. Zhou looks good to me. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. I think Zhou will become the new Perez. I don't think he's at that level. I think there's a fair few tenths difference between the two of them. I don't think Zhou's at Perez level. I'm curious regarding Stroll. Can he get himself out the car if he needs to in an emergency? Well, what did we see in FP2 yesterday when he was trying to get out the car? No. What did we see in his first FIA medical extraction test? No. And then out of pity, they let him do it again and he was able to. I'm like, no, you can't. If he's completely fresh and not just done a race distance and he can't get out the car quick enough, you don't give him another go. That's not how that works. Yeah, no, that's from the FIA's point of view, on a medical test point of view, really poor. Really poor from them. I don't think Stroll should race. No, I probably agree with you there, to be honest. FIA being FIA again? Yep. We'll be saying that a lot this year. That is, again, that can also go on the shirt range. You know, that could be our merch line. Is Boschong about to win the Formula 2 race? Is Ralph Boschong seriously about to win Formula 2 again? I really can't be bothered with him. He's like 80 years old. Why is he still in Formula 2? But yeah, we're on to the final lap in the F2 race, which means we're very close to Formula 1 starting. 28 minutes until I head off. And then I leave you guys to obviously watch qualifying, watch the build-up, watch the qualifying session itself. And then we come back after qualifying, potentially incredibly hyped for the race tomorrow and the whole season to come, or incredibly depressed because Verstappen's just put it on pole by about half a second, and we are in for the most boring season ever. Who knows? Fingers crossed it's the first one, and we have like a 3 or 4 car fight for pole. If we have 3 cars, and it's not the Mercedes included in that, within 2 or 3 tenths of pole position, this is going to be an amazing season. If Mercedes is like half a second behind, 4 tenths at this session, I'm not too fussed by that. They will be in the fight come the end of the year. They have their big upgrade package with a bit of a philosophy change coming in for Azerbaijan. That will jump them up the order quite a lot. It will solve their problems early on this year. Plus, Bahrain in itself is just a really different track to a lot of other tracks we see on the calendar, especially the tracks coming up in the near future as well. So, yeah, I wouldn't be fussed. If you're a Mercedes fan, yeah, obviously it's disappointing if you don't qualify well today, but look, long term, it's not bad. Long term, it's not bad. Finally, FP3 highlights. If you think 04 is boring, remember BAR McLaren Renault. Oh, Jesus, good God, yeah. Remember that on the season reviews, Christ. If Verstappen is on pole by half a second, you still have a few hours to make this an IndyCar channel. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we'll be live with IndyCar qualifying tonight, guys. Hope you'll really enjoy IndyCar, because that's what we're going to watch from the live IndyCar watch-alongs from now on. Yeah. I want to get more into Indy. I'm going to try to get more into IndyCar this year. I really do want to. If Verstappen is on pole by half a second, you still have yours. I literally just read that one. Or WRC, because why not? Yeah, exactly. You know, we'll do some Formula E content. Formula 2, in fact. We could just be a Formula 2 channel. Actually, Ralph Boschong's just won that, and that makes me depressed. So no, we're not doing Formula 2. Formula 3, we can do. That's all right. F1 Academy, that's going to be an absolutely appalling series, probably, because it's in worse cars than W Series with the same drivers. So F1, don't get me started on F1 Academy. Please do not get me started on F1 Academy. It is... If I thought W Series was dumb, it's taken the dumbest aspects of W Series and amplified it. They're getting 25-year-old drivers to drive Formula 4 cars. Oh, great career progression there. A lot of them are taking a step back to go race at F1 Academy. No. Just flat out no. I don't like it. If you're going to dabble your feet in IndyCar, you need spread coverage of the Indy 500 in the UK. It's 2 weeks of practice and qualifying before the race. Yes, there you go. See, we've got loads of time. We are going single-handedly with this channel make IndyCar the biggest sport in the UK. Football? Pfft, rubbish. Move over. IndyCar. Go to IndyCar, yeah. I'll try to focus on IndyCar this year, because I've always wanted to. I've always really wanted to get into IndyCar, but yeah, never really have. Like properly. I watch a lot of the races, but I've never like got into it, if that makes any sense. I think it does. But yes, it's like I've watched the races, but never properly, actively engaged with it really. So yeah, we now have a lot of people in here, so let's see what's going on with the F1 fantasy stuff, because we want to see if by the end of this stream we can hit 100 teams being in our F1 fantasy league. So let's see what right now. We're up to 88. That is literally 4 people watching right now. If you haven't, 4 people need to join with 3 teams on the F1 Fantasy League, and then we'll have hit 100 and the stream goal will be complete, and that would be really cool. Winner gets a trophy, and the person who finishes in last, I'm buying a wooden spoon. So if you really want a wooden spoon, create an awful team. If you really want a trophy, create a good team. You know, no in between. So yeah, there you go. There's that shout out. But yeah, let's see if we can get to 100 teams in that by the end of this stream. That'd be really cool. But yes, anyway, so what we're looking at, obviously now it's only 53 minutes before qualifying gets underway. We are now incredibly close. And for a lot of people just joining now, this is the graph of the season. So where we stand with qualifying today, Red Bull need to be quickest. If Red Bull are not quickest, they are not winning the championship this year. If Max doesn't win 2/3 of like the first third of the season, if he doesn't win sort of like 5 or 6 of the first like 8-9 races, he probably won't be champion. It will be very difficult for him to be champion. Also, if you're joining the F1 Fantasy League, it is the pinned comment. It's also top link in the description. Realise I forgot to actually mention that, and that's quite important. We'll see. Which mine? Chips can be used every week or only free for a whole year. Well, I think you can only use each chip once. I think that's how it works. I assume you can't use it every weekend. So yeah, I'm assuming you can only use it once. Yeah, so this is the dominance chart that we got from the FP3 session. So you obviously have Hamilton as the Mercedes colour, the sort of light greeny, cyany thing. Dark green for the British Racing green for Alonso, and then the Red Bull blue for Verstappen. So that's that. Only once per team per year. Yeah, okay, there we go. That's what I thought it was. So that's cool to hear. So yeah, so that's our dominance chart. So basically, yeah, from this session, what we're going to have in qualifying here, Red Bull need to be the quickest, because the only problem that we're going to have here for Red Bull is with this chart that I'm bringing back up, they have so much less development time than their nearest rival, which is likely to be Aston Martin, weirdly enough, or at least Fernando Alonso. Don't think Stroll will actually be able to compete really in the top 6 battle, but Alonso will get himself right up there. Maybe Lance Stroll will be able to compete with, you know, when they're having an off day, the Mercedes or Red Bull, Stroll might be able to get himself in there, but I really do think Fernando's got a 23-0 Stroll in qualifying this year. I really do. Maybe 22-1, maybe 21-2, something like that, but Alonso's going to absolutely dominate Stroll in qualifying this year. Races could be a different story, because obviously you have bad luck involved in that, so yeah, that's a different story. Too slow charge for a win. Oh, 2004, sorry, I can't read. Yeah, 2004 BAR, too slow charge for a win, still got second in construction. Yeah, absolutely. Who am I supporting? So I am a McLaren fan. I have been since I was about 5 years old. So we'll very much stay a part of the McLaren fan. We might be in for a pretty rough year again, but it's okay. It's been a pretty rough decade. We're used to it. So yeah, I mean, don't know what to expect. But honestly, in a championship fight between, like, you know, Red Bull, Ferrari, Aston Martin, I'm probably going to be Camp Alonso. And people keep saying, why do you like Alonso? He's, you know, he's really, you know, like, controversial. He's very very abrasive sort of thing, you know. I'm like, yeah, that's why I love him. You know, like, my favourite Avenger is Tony Stark, because he's a bit of a dick. Same boat with Alonso. I love him because of that. You know, the comments he makes on the radio, all of that sort of stuff. That's why I really like him. Also, I just have massive respect for the fact he's a Formula 1 driver at age 41 and still has the pace that he does on occasion. It's ridiculous. How much time is left for qualifying? Well, 50 minutes until qualifying gets underway, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. You said before Aston Martin is definitely not going to be in top 6. Yeah, I know. And honestly, I'm gonna say I was wrong. I knew they would be at least 4th. You know, that was like worst case scenario. They're going to be the 4th quickest team. Yeah, they've turned up in FP1. I'm thinking, oh, okay, they're really quick. FP2, which is representative, their race pace was phenomenal. It was so good. So yeah, Aston Martin, they are in contention. At least Fernando Alonso is in contention. Not sure Lance Stroll is. Fernando Alonso definitely is. And that's what we know. No one was expecting... Okay, I saw some people who are maybe making, I don't know, like, sort of over-exaggerated things. Saying, oh, yeah, well, you know, they're doing a brawn. They're going to be champions. I didn't think that would happen. I really didn't. And I said as much. I still don't think they'll be champions. I think Red Bull is going to be the quickest race car at the start of the year. Mercedes and Ferrari will probably catch up with Aston Martin or something along those lines. But yeah, no, it's interesting. No, they're doing better than we thought. That's something. Yeah, we'll absolutely talk about it because whenever I'm wrong, I'll admit it. They've done so much better than I thought they would. As did a lot of journalists have been saying that, and everyone else. It's sort of caught us unaware. We knew they'd be good. Like I said, we knew they'd be good. I've said that they'd be good this year, but not this good. They're looking really, really strong. Obviously, qualifying's still to come. They might end up the 4th quickest team still. Mercedes might, fine tune the setup, turn the engine up, loads of speed. Ferrari might turn their engine up, loads of speed and overtake them. We don't know yet. But at the moment, yeah, they're looking quick. They're looking quick. Do you think Aston win a single race? You've got to think so. If, and this is based on right now, from what we saw in FP1, FP2, FP3, if they are as close as it looks, yes, they've got to. Just by the laws of averages, Verstappen's going to break down or make a mistake or have a bad strategy, slow pit stop somewhere, that will allow Alonso to win the race. But if Ferrari and Mercedes are really close and Red Bull's clear, probably not. They'll be able to pick up some podiums, but wins, that's a different story. Getting a win is a hell of a lot harder than getting a podium. A lot more things have to go your way to get a win than get a surprise third. Surprise third is a few of the front runners wipe each other out. To get a surprise win, you need for every single one of the top teams, top drivers even, something to have gone wrong on every single one of them. And, that very rarely happens. Will you still be streaming when quality starts? No. So the plan is I will stop streaming in about 17 minutes time. Might run a little bit over maybe, but about 17 minutes time, maybe 20, 25. We'll stop streaming. I'll leave you guys to watch the broadcast, to, however you want to consume the session. That's what you can do. And then after qualifying, literally minutes after qualifying ends, we will then come back live to discuss everything that happened. Start to discuss the race a little bit, but we will have a stream before the race tomorrow, so it will more be... let's be honest, we're going to do some race predictions, aren't we? This afternoon. But I can't wait. It's going to be really good. So yeah, any investigations that are ongoing, any general discussion, that's what will be in this afternoon stream. Some predictions for tomorrow as well. Some unofficial predictions. Not like our little game that we're playing against each other. Speaking of, if anyone's just joined and you want to know how this game's working, it's you guys against me this year. We ran a poll a little bit earlier about which driver would come out on top between Perez, Alonso, Leclerc and Hamilton. I went for Leclerc, you guys went for Alonso, so whichever one's closest there wins on that one. Sorry. So yeah, you guys are against me. So we do these polls, you guys vote in it. Of course, you could do your own little personal one against me, but it's fans versus me this year. This is the latest one we've got. This is our second one. Which team's top driver will qualify the highest? So McLaren, Haas, Alpine. You guys are at 49% Alpine, which is a slightly smaller margin than we got for Alonso in the first poll, which is interesting. So you guys are a little bit more split on this one. Look at 30% McLaren and 22% for Haas. I'm going to make my prediction at the end of this stream on that one, because this is the last one we'll have up before the stream ends. So if you haven't voted on it, do so. And you can be involved in our little battle against each other, which is fun. Sorry. Aston Martin are supposed to be at least the same pace with Alpine and McLaren. Oh, they will be. They absolutely will be, yeah. They'll be clear of that. They'll be clear of that. Maybe Stroll could be brought into that battle, maybe, especially with his wrist injury. But no, that car's quicker than we thought. It's just quicker than we thought it was going to be. We knew they'd made a big step, but they've not made a big step. They've made a leap. They have done a long jump. They've done a triple jump, is what they've done. Yeah, it's mad what they've done. I feel like Aston Martin will have a fast enough car for pole, but I also think Aston Martin will not have a fast enough car for a win, only for a podium. Yeah, I fully agree with you there. Fully agree. Their degradation looks very good, which means I think even if Charles Leclerc or Carlos Sainz out-qualifies Alonso, Alonso might outrace them, because simply the degradation... Well, they actually had negative degradation on the Aston Martin. The lap times over time were going down on the same stint of tyres. So, yeah, they had negative deg. The Ferraris very much had positive deg. Degradation looked to be a problem for them. So, yeah, I think in the race, Aston Martin will be stronger, but over one lap pace, that remains to be seen. And I guess that's the whole point of qualifying. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, I feel like over the race, Aston Martin will be pretty strong and on a fairly similar level to Red Bull in the race. Qualifying, who the hell knows? Do you think a bottom team can jump big next year? Maybe Williams. I mean, yeah, you've got James Vowles there. AlphaTauri, I think, are in the mud now until they either get sold or move to the UK. That's what we've heard coming out. Is sorry, I've been talking for quite a while. In the media, we've heard recently AlphaTauri are either going to be sold or moved to the UK, because at the moment they're just not profitable enough. So if they're already not profitable, why you got to sink more money into it? That's not necessarily a great investment. So I think AlphaTauri now a little bit, like I said, they're in the mud until they get new investment some way, either moving to the UK, they get more investment, or by having a takeover. That's what it'll be. I predict a Perez pole. That's I wouldn't even say that's a massively bold prediction. I do struggle to see Checo beating Max. I'm going to be honest. But no, it's not impossible by any. He got poles last year. He beat Max in qualifying last year at times. This is what I think the top 4 teams will be as quickest to slowest. First Red Bull, and then Aston Martin, Mercedes, and Ferrari equal. I do think Mercedes will be a little bit further behind on race pace. I think. I don't really know, though. Mercedes are so unknown at the moment because yesterday they looked like they were in loads of trouble, and today they actually look okay. They look like they're there or thereabouts. So, yeah, no, it's a hard one with Mercedes. I don't know what to think of them so far this year. I really don't. It's like Alpine. I just don't know what to make of what I've seen from them. I haven't seen enough of them in going for it. I predict both Williams in Q1. Yeah, I mean, Albon might be able to sneak out, but he won't get through to Q3 or anything. He'll be Q2 at best. Same P1 Perez, P2 Alonso, P3 Max, P4 Hamilton, P5 Leclerc, P6 Stroll, P7 Sainz. Ooh, that'd be a rough one for Ferrari, that would. Williams, yeah, I think probably both Williams out in Q1, or Albon maybe sneaking through to Q2 and knocking out a Haas, a Alfa Romeo, something along those lines. Hopefully not McLaren, for my sake. Had enough of that last year with Ricciardo. Let's not let Piastri start doing that. But I can't wait for this. I really, really can't wait. What a session this is going to be, hopefully. Hoping we don't get Red Bull too dominant. I do want them to have a 10th or 2, simply because that means I think we will have a decent championship fight when Ferrari, Mercedes, and Aston Martin do catch up as the season goes on, because Red Bull will be limited in their development curve. It's just a fact. If you have 37% less development time than your nearest rival in Aston Martin, you're going to have a smaller development curve than them. That's just not a question. So, yeah, that's going to be fun to see. That's going to be really fun to see what goes on between Aston Martin and Red Bull over the course of the season. I do want to keep an eye on how that gap changes, because could we be in a position where at the end of the year, Aston Martin's quicker than the Red Bull? That would be big. That would be really big. Another bold prediction, Sargent in Q2. Ooh, that is a bold prediction. Maybe that is the case of the Williams having more pace than we thought it would. I mean, I'm struggling to find 5 drivers who I'd put out in Q1. I think both the AlphaTauris are a shoo-in. Maybe Logan Sargent as well. But apart from that, I don't know. And I really don't. I don't know. And I don't like not knowing. I like knowing. I don't like not knowing. But yeah, it will feel wrong for any of those drivers to go out in Q1. Like, it will just feel like, oh, that was underperforming sort of thing. But someone's got to go out. That's the thing. Someone has to go out. Yeah, that'll be fun. For sure, I just dunked all AlphaTauri drivers out of my fantasy team. Yeah, fair enough. I thought they'd be stronger than they have been. I really did think they'd be stronger than they have. So for anyone who doesn't know, let's have a quick update on our F1 Fantasy League, as we're sort of getting close to the end here of our preview stream. Have we hit our 100? Guys, 7 more teams. That's all we need. We need 7 more fantasy teams to reach 100. That was our goal for this stream. It is if you want to join our F1 Fantasy and you've already got it set up, or you want to get it set up, it is the top link in the description, or it is the pinned comment in the live chat. So that is the invite link if anyone wants to do it. Our goal for this stream is to hit 100 teams. So if we could hit that, that'd be really, really cool in the league. But yeah, I'll keep this up for now because this is sort of what we're sort of actively discussing most at the moment. There we go. Aston Martin with Alonso Super Pole. That would be amazing. Safe predictions: P1 Max, P2 Hamilton, P3 Alonso, P4. Oh, Perez P5. That might be a little bit harsh on Perez. P6 Russell, P7. Yeah, but I mean the general shape of it I agree with, but that might be a little harsh on Perez. I have Verstappen, Alonso, Zhou, Sargent, and Tsunoda. Yeah, decent team, to be honest. Decent team. Yeah, Verstappen, Alonso, yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad team. I just joined a fantasy league, my first ever, so nervous. Well, good luck. Good luck. So the prizes for how this is going to work is the winner gets a trophy delivered to them. If you're abroad, it'll be by a local trophy company. I'm sure you've got one that makes them. And I'll just pay for that. If you're UK based, then I'll sort all of that out, obviously. And if you lose, unfortunately for you, well, actually, unfortunately, I will buy you a wooden spoon. If you come last, you win the wooden spoon. So there you go. I'm tempted to make a team that's going to come last now. So let's take another look at my teams, because we haven't done that for a minute here, and a lot more people have joined. So I've got, this is my main team. We have Verstappen, Alonso, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Perez, Red Bull, and Aston Martin. And I'm pretty happy with that team. I'm going to see quickly if I can substitute Perez out for another competitive driver. No, I'm keeping Perez with that. Keeping Perez. Here we've got Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Fernando Alonso, Kevin Magnussen, Hülkenberg, which is almost the same team, but instead of Aston Martin, we have Haas, and we have Charles Leclerc instead of Perez. So yeah, that's a slightly different team. So basically, this one's focused really heavily on the constructors. This one's a bit of a mix between, so we've got two top-tier drivers, a driver that's going to do well, and then a really good constructor and an okay constructor. And then this one's a driver-focused one, where we've got Russell, Verstappen, Leclerc, and Alonso, and Bottas. That's 5 very, probably high-scoring drivers. And then 2 midfield constructors teams. So it'll be really interesting to see how that plays out, that battle between my teams. Yeah, I'm really interested to sort of see how that goes, to be honest. Yes, a wooden spoon. Exactly, you win a wooden spoon, guys. Last work I watched live in India. I think someone said they had a link earlier, so I don't know if the person's still there, but there you go. I have Verstappen, Alonso, Zhou, such Tsunoda, for fantasy league. Yeah, good luck with the fantasy league. Good luck. Let's see if we've hit 100 yet. We better be close, guys. I'm putting a lot of faith in you. I'm putting a lot of faith in you guys. What are we up to? We're up to 94. We're getting there. We're getting close. Getting close. Anyone played that Mega Driver yet? No, I think I'll save it for a sprint race. I have a link for India. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Fantasy teams in Discord, by the way, for me. Ooh, let's take a look at some of you guys' fantasy teams, actually. Should we do that? Let's have a look at some of the fantasy teams. So, Random Dutch, we've got yours. Let's open it up. So, you've got with Fernando Alonso, let's see, you've got Random Dutch Ramblings, something from NL, and Please Carry Me Go. There you go. So, we've got Fernando Alonso, Valtteri Bottas, Sergio Perez, Nico Hülkenberg, Max Verstappen. Ooh, that's a good lineup. Red Bull, yeah, that's a good lineup. Fair play there, fair play. Charles Leclerc, Pierre Gasly, Magnussen, Alonso, Bottas. Again, pretty solid lineup. Interesting what Gasly does this year. That'd be really fun to see. But yeah, overall, very good lineup. And then Ferrari and Mercedes. That's an interesting one. We'll see how that turns out. Then we've got Hamilton, Sainz, Albon, Alonso, and Ocon, with Aston Martin and Mercedes as the constructors. So you've got a lot of variation in the teams. I like that. I like some variation. I have not really. And I'm really annoyed I haven't, but I couldn't bring myself to really bring many other teams into it than the ones I knew I was going to be a bit more happy with. I think YouTube doesn't... Yeah, no, YouTube won't allow a link. Join a Discord, maybe? I don't know. I don't know the best way to do it. If you guys just want to message each other, like pop your Discord in or something like that. The first one's a real try hard. The others are trying to fill the gaps, yeah. No, but I quite like it. I quite like how that's gone. Oh, we've got another one from Sledges on here as well. Oh, that's opened in the wrong page. Why is that opened on the wrong page? Hang on, I've got to rearrange the tabs to try to get it on the screen. Here we go. So we've got this one as well. We've got... zoomed in way too much there. So we've got Charles Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Hülkenberg, Sargent, Verstappen. Very strong sort of 4 drivers there. Sargent as well could maybe pick up some cheeky, especially overtake points, things like that. That could be a real shout. Aston Martin, AlphaTauri, again... Good construction, Aston Martin. They'll score well. AlphaTauri, I feel like you've taken a financial hit there. We've got Zhou Guanyu, Yuki Tsunoda. Yeah, maybe so that we can afford these guys at the bottom here. Very good shout. That's very constructor strong. That's a very constructor heavy lineup. Now Verstappen, Norris. Yeah, I really want to include Norris on mine, but I'm struggling to get him in. Actually, can I fit Norris in? I do. Oh, sorry. I'll finish going over yours first. So we've got Ocon, Magnussen, Albon, and then Alpine and Ferrari. So that's a There's your shout. I want to see if I can fit Lando into one of my teams. Which one realistically might I be? I feel like this last team, that's where it's going to be a possibility. How much? Lando's 11.2 million. Okay. No, that's going to be quite hard to fit in anywhere. That's going to be really hard to fit in. Maybe if I go for a weaker constructor than Alpine. So let's go for a weaker constructor. Like Haas. Get rid of Bottas. And that gives us enough money. There we go. We've got Lando in. So right, let's give it to Haas again and just see what options we have. So we can go AlphaTauri, Romeo, Haas, or Williams. Yeah, Haas is the strongest of those options. That's very driver heavy. That is a ridiculously driver heavy team, and I'm all there for it. That is a driver heavy team, really. Yeah, no, that's probably going to backfire horrendously, to be honest. Bold prediction: Alonso P1, Max P2, Perez P3, P4, Russell P5, Leclerc P6, P6 Stroll. Wait, what? Leclerc P6. Oh yeah, Alonso P1, Max 2, Hamilton 3, Perez 4, Russell 5, Leclerc 6, Stroll 7. There we go. I was reading it the wrong way round. Like the big brain man I am. I still think Felipe should take Lance's seat. Lance's wrist is far from healed. Yeah, I think over the course of the race, that's looking like it's going to be a real challenge for Lance. I'm not liking the look of it. Especially for like the extraction tests that we saw. Like that doesn't look good. And the fact that we know he failed his first extraction test. Lance was, he did his first extraction test and couldn't get out the car in time. And they let him do it again. They had pity on him. That's not how safety works. That's not how safety should work. So, guys, if you want to, you can join the Discord as well. I guess you guys can message each other from inside there. I know YouTube doesn't like the sharing of a lot of links, but if you join the Discord and then message each other via that, the Discord is the second link in the description if you want to join over on there. That will give you the option to all message each other as well. Main reason I don't have Lance in my teams is because otherwise I for sure would swap Pierre for him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's really difficult. It's really difficult, the F1 Fantasy this year, because I feel like we have more unknowns in Fantasy this year than we did last time. Last year, I just went for all the Ferrari teams, and they absolutely carried me, because they were all underpriced, because I knew they'd do better. So I was so confident with F1 Fantasy last season, and it worked. It all paid off. Like, I was right. Happy days. But apart from that, it's difficult. Why doesn't Mercedes change their side pods mid-season like Aston Martin did the last time? Well, actually, Mercedes are going to. We have the Mercedes Azerbaijan package that's going to come in, and then we will see a pretty radical change to the car if everything we've heard so far is to be believed. How does fantasy work? So basically, you have a budget, you pick your teams, and you get points based off of how well they perform in it. So constructors and drivers, and you get points based off of how well they do. It's really fun. I really like the sort of format of it. You guys still have 31 minutes to join the league and get that done. Have we hit 100 yet? 195. Come on, guys. 5 more teams. You can all enter 3 teams each, by the way. You can enter 3 teams each. So that will triple your chances of winning. So we literally need 2 people to enter 3 teams, and we will be there. Is that a game? So it's on the F1 website. So it's a link that is in the description, and it is also a link that is pinned in the chat, in the live chat. So yeah, it's on the F1 website. If you literally go on Google, type in F1 Fantasy, you log in with your F1 account, and it's all official with Formula 1 and all of that beautiful stuff. So let's take a look on Twitter, see if there's been anything else. It's all cool. My team's on Discord now. We've got another team. Let's take a look at this. F1 Fantasy. There we go. Right, let's take a look at another team. So we've got Fernando Alonso, Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, Valtteri Bottas, and Nick de Vries. Very similar team to one of mine there. With Nick de Vries, obviously, I think instead of Hulkenberg, I went for... Was it Hulkenberg I went for differently? I think I changed it slightly. Anyway, it was similar to one of the teams I had before I swapped people around. Then Aston Martin, Red Bull. Yeah, I agree on the constructors' choices like that. Hamilton, Alonso, Perez, Bottas, Ocon. Yeah, I mean, if Mercedes perform well in this qualifying session, that's a really good shout, to be fair. And yeah, pretty it would be a good outcome, decent scoring points. Perez as well, Bottas, Ocon, like that team, like the lineup. Not sure what to expect from Ocon in this session. That's a drive. The Alpines I'll be keeping a close eye on, just sort of see how it ends up, because I don't know. They were so bullish pre-season, and it all just sort of hasn't gone their way since, it seems, but we'll see. Mercedes and Aston Martin as well. Yeah, Aston Martin's such a good cheap option. They're going to score well this season, very well. Charles Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, very driver heavy. I like the thinking here. I feel like everyone's done the same sort of things. Like, this is a strong constructors. This is a bit of a mix between some strong drivers and decent constructors, and then more strong on the driver front and a bit weaker on the constructors. I feel like everyone's sort of mentally done the same thing while they were setting up, and I think that's really cool. But no, I like the look of those teams. I like the look. If anyone else does have one that they want to share, then oh, yeah. Also, yeah, the links, if you would like the links, let's say, theoretically, ask for it and get sent it, secretly. Get the links secretly, because officially, I can't see those. I'm not meant to see those officially, so, that's where we lay on the concept of those absolutely abhorrent links, that's where we sit. Pretty funny how Red Bull were called Aston Martin Red Bull Racing a few years ago. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Alfa Romeo could be a surprise with both cars. Yeah, Alfa Romeo as well, I want to keep a close eye on, because there's only two bad teams, in my opinion. The Williams and the AlphaTauri both don't look great. All of the other teams on the grid, for me, last season, you put any of those cars in last season's grid, they're near best to the rest. So I don't know. It's going to be really fun, and I think it's going to vary race by race. And that's what we want. That's really what we want to see. How about the loser gets coal as their only present for Christmas? Oh, that's just rude. They're getting a wooden spoon. They're getting a wooden spoon. So if you come last in F1 Fantasy, I will get you a wooden spoon. If you come first, you win a trophy. I feel like it's a pretty fair trade-off. We're still on 95, guys. Come on, 5 more teams. That is all we need. 5 more teams on the F1 Fantasy League. It is the pinned comment, and it is the top link in the description. Our goal for this stream was to hit 100. We're going to do it. We have to do it. When does qualifying start? So qualifying starts in 27 minutes. As you can see in the countdown in the bottom right. And that's when we're underway for qualifying. Right, cool. Like I said, really not long now till we get underway with qualifying. So let's get our final predictions in. Let's get our top 5s for qualifying from this session. So if I'm doing my prediction now, I'm going Verstappen pole, and then it gets difficult. I'm going Verstappen pole. What route do I want to go with this? Perez third. No. Yes. Perez third. Leclerc second. Alonso fourth. Hamilton fifth. Russell sixth. Sainz seventh. That's my top 7 prediction there. So if you guys want to put your top 5s in or top 7s, whatever you want, let me know what you guys are thinking ahead of this session. 1 Perez, fair enough. I mean, that's a decent prediction. I'd be shocked if Perez gets pole, but it's not impossible. No, I wouldn't be shocked. I would be pleasantly surprised by Checo. I'd be like, well done. I didn't know you had that in you, sort of thing. But it's not like, oh my god, he got pole. It's just like, oh, fair play. Norris 8th. Yeah. But maybe one of the Alpines, maybe one of the Haas's, to be honest. I'm not sure. I'm going to quickly make a note of the predictions that we've made as well. I'm going to open I'm making my little Excel document where we've got the fan prediction and my prediction. So fan pred and Brad pred. There we go, that's close enough. So for the first one, you guys went for Alonso to finish highest, and I went for Leclerc to finish highest. On this one, the poll we're about to end, which team's top driver will qualify highest today? Right there, 47% for Alpine, 23% for Haas, and 30% for McLaren. So you guys have gone for Alpine, and we're going to end the poll now. That poll has ended. So there we go. So you guys have gone for Alpine, and I am going for... Oh, that's tricky. Who? So between Alpine, McLaren, and Haas. I'm going to go McLaren. But it will probably end up being Alpine. I just want to be different to you guys. I don't want to predict the same thing because that's really boring. So I'm going to go McLaren. I'm going to hope Lando or Oscar, could be Oscar, just pull a magic lap out the bag and it'll be good. Right, so let's see what you guys have said. So we've got Max, Alonso, Hamilton, Perez, and Leclerc. Yeah, I think that's pretty likely, to be honest. Alonso or Max, then Checo or Alonso, then Lewis or Charles. That's all I'm going to guess. Fair enough. May the best driver get pole? Yeah, hopefully that's how it works. Hopefully the top teams actually are so even this year that the best driver does get pole. That would be great. So you went Perez first, Alonso second, Verstappen third, Hamilton fourth, Leclerc fifth, Stroll sixth, Sainz seventh, and Russell in eighth, says Alex. Then we've got Whoopi saying Verstappen 1, Checo 2, Alonso 3, Leclerc 4, and fifth is George Russell. Stephen saying 1 Alonso. Alonso, you got Haas. Made a late change to my fantasy teams. Aha, booted Albon for Bottas. And in the middle one, I swapped Bottas for Zhou. That way, if Bottas bites the dust, I still have one team. Yeah, fair enough. If Verstappen gets a DNF this weekend, my fantasy teams are done for already. But that's good. That's good, really, because it means I can just give up. You know, I'm like, yeah, it's gone horrifically wrong. Let's stop putting time into this. I'd rather, if I'm not going to win anyway, rather know it from the first race. 101 teams. Have we hit 100 teams? Have we hit 100 teams? Let's see. Let's give it a refresh. Have you guys managed to reach? I got 103 teams. Well done, everybody. That's it. Our goal from the stream has been hit. So we've got 103 teams in the Fantasy League. That doesn't mean stop. If you are new here, you can still join the Fantasy League. Winner gets a trophy. Loser gets a wooden spoon shipped to their house. So you can cook pasta with it, which I feel is nice. You can be reminded of your failures in F1 Fantasy every time you cook pasta. What could be better? Watch me come last now, and I have to buy myself a wooden spoon. How depressing will that be? But yeah, let's go. Why do you think I did not give Max a 2-time spot? I know. I'm scared to do it. To be honest. If Max, but I've got him as my DRS driver on 2 teams as well. So if he has a bad weekend, like my first and second team are both done for. I've put Leclerc as the DRS driver on the 3rd team, just in case they have a decent race at Ferrari, but I don't know. Right, so Stephen saying Alonso, Max, Charles, Checo, Lance, Hamilton, and 7 a Haas driver. Fair enough. Where do you join Fantasy League? So it is the top link in the description, or it is the it's the pinned comment in the chat. So you go to the F1 website, or just Google F1. It's this easy. So open up this F1 Fantasy. There you go. F1 Fantasy game. It's on the Formula 1 website. Then you sign in. You make your team. On my team, it will prompt you to make a team. You can make 3 teams. And then by using the link in our description or the link in the chat, both of which will be here after the stream ends, you can join the league. You have until lights go green in the pit lane for qualifying in 21 minutes time to get that done. So yeah, that'd be really cool. I'm going to go. Yeah, no worry, Colin, at all. No worry at all. I'm also going to go any minute so that I can... I can watch qualifying. And then we'll be back live afterwards. I'm going to get the stream scheduled the second I end this. So we can maybe have a little bit of a chat in that chat. Maybe near like Q3 or something. I don't know. I'll keep an eye on it. If there's a load of you in there, I'll keep talking to you on the live chat for the scheduled stream after quali. But if not, I will see you after qualifying, hopefully. As well. So yeah, we'll get that done in a minute. I just make 3 teams. Honestly, I don't care for winning. I did it having fun knowing. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing is you have to think with all of these that you enter, you go, chances are you're probably not going to win. So just have some fun selecting it. Choose some of your favourite. Look, I've worked Lando into one of my teams. I don't think he's going to have a great race, but he's there because I want to have a little bit of fun with it. It's like on my FPL, I have like 2 or 3 Nottingham Forest players. They're not very good, but they're a team I support. So I've got to include them. See you guys in a bit. Yeah, see you, Gemma. See you. We'll round off the stream now. I will get the next stream set up. If you want to keep chatting there, go for it. I'll keep an eye on it on my phone while I'm watching F1. But guys, until after qualifying, hopefully I see most of you come back. A few minutes after qualifying ends, we will try to go back live again, and we will discuss absolutely anything and everything and making some more predictions ahead of the first race of the 2023 Formula 1 season tomorrow. See ya. Always forget to end the stream.